We cannot afford any VAT increase. In fact, we need to go to the Constitutional Court to reverse the first increase of 7.7% that Zuma put in place before he left in 2018, that took us from 14% to 15%. It was already unjust. The biggest injustice is the fact that we have no control over how much money, our money is stolen from every municipality, every provincial government, every state agency of a municipality, of a provincial government, every state-owned company, every government-owned company, every regulatory body. In South Africa, I counted on my own 116 different taxes that we pay. We are the most overly taxed country. We're probably the most overly taxed developing nation in the world. The kinds of taxes that we pay are unjust, are inhumane. They are beyond what apartheid did to us. The apartheid government developed this country.
Welcome to Mzeg's Kitchen. Mzeg's. What we have for you today is a beautiful ribeye steak with a chimichurri sauce, tender stem broccoli, smashed potatoes with parmesan over the top, and some pizza bread. Please do enjoy.
Broccoli and beef here. Wow. Beautiful.
NOTA Mondays, NOTA versus Sis MANDISA, MASHEGO. I'm quite excited. I haven't seen my sister in quite some time. Recorded at Mzeg's Kitchen. Mzeg's Kitchen is recorded at north of Johannesburg, where NOTA grew up, just next to the Olivedale Clinic at the Cooking Studios. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Thank you so much for the support last week. We reached our first official 1,000 live viewers. Guys, today we are aiming for 1,005. I don't know, we might just hit 2,000. 2,000, right? So the authority handles things. No, Sis MANDISA, welcome back, Sis MANDISA. We'll have our own conversation one day, very soon. But for now, the authority is here. He owns the Mondays. Midday, guys, we do it every Monday at 12 o'clock. Let your friends know. Become a part of the podcast. Subscribe. Become a part of the community. We are at Mzeg's Kitchen. Danko.
Sharp. How are you, Sis MANDISA?
Ngiyapila. Why? You know, NOTA is like a child to me.
Thank you.
Why melektiwa indawo kaNOTA? I've been living in North Riding since the, is it late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah.
Indawo yam, NOTA ingane.
Yeah, but we arrived in 91.
But it's your Monday. It's your Monday.
No, we arrived in 91, Tina. 91.
We are in 91. Not ngicela school and Group Areas Act. Stop taking that thing as an accolade. It's not yours. It doesn't. You don't own it. It belongs to Babu Maponya. Umkhulu Maponya. Passed away, our business legend.
Okay.
He was the very first
Richard Maponya.
African man. Ungathi Richard Maponya.
No, but obviously our audience is
Richard Maponya. Babu Maponya would have been older than my dad if he was still alive. And my dad, because I think he died in his 90s, and may his soul rest in peace.
So how do we respect older people as Africans?
Maponya, here's the point. Back to the point.
Yeah.
Was the first African black man to take advantage of Group Areas Act. As soon as the ink was dry of the Group Areas Act being scrapped after the 1987 referendum, wherein white people and coloureds and Indians voted to scrap Group Areas Act, to scrap Bantu Education Act, to scrap separate economic development, to buy a house in, what is that area where he bought a house? Is it Ilovo? Somewhere there. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Saxon World, Ilovo area, yeah.
Okay, that's insane.
In literally 1987, as soon as that law, ingakafiki nase-parliament ukuthi president iyenze, promulgate.
Okay.
So you moved in the burbs in 91, like how many years? 4 years. After the millionaires, the black millionaires. Abu Brenda Fassie, Abu Babu Richard Maponya, Abu millionaires as a KZN. You must understand that the apartheid government produced black billionaires. As far, not even the 80s, besegna millionaires amaningi. Okay. Apartheid, not the British, from 1948, because they had a clear economic plan. There's no Politics doesn't govern the country, it's the economics. You politicize the economics.
Okay, no, thank you for that history
But it's
lesson.
your show. Thanks for
thank you.
inviting me, Nota.
Yeah, no, I think the powers that be said
Age,
that
uyazi
we kind of-
ngimdala ngithi. Uyazi ukuthi ngumma wakho angithi.
how old?
So let's just agree.
You're only 15 years older than me.
Ngiyakuzala Nota. If bengilabantwana laba esibabiza abononkroyi ngazala ngina 15 years.
Okay.
Kube
What about my
ngumma
parents though?
wakho.
What if my parents are old enough to be your parent?
Well, then that happens. That's normal.
We just celebrated my dad's 73rd birthday. And my mother,
Amazing.
a week before, on the 2nd of March, because
Happy
my dad's on the
birthday.
9th, she celebrated, she's 5 years younger than him, so she turned 68.
68, yeah. My mom is 70, I think 4 or 5.
Okay, so your mom is Intanga Kababam. So you're like my big sister. Because I've also got another big sister.
Ngumma wakho.
My older
I
sister.
could have had you young, and your parents had you when they were a bit more matured.
My older
in years.
sister is 13 years older than me.
That's your sister.
Yeah, but you're 2 years older than her. So you could be my sister.
Okay,
You could
fine.
be a friend.
Whatever.
You could
I'm
have
your
gone to the same
Okay,
Technicon.
I'm your older sister.
So
Where did your sister go? If it's Technicon, that's where I went.
She went to TNG, Technicon of
Which one
Northern
was
Gauteng.
TNG?
It's in Soshanguve.
Part of TNT.
TNT, TNG, Sefako Mahato,
Yeah.
all
Oh,
those.
yeah, ngiyabona.
Those. So I've watched your content. And
Is this an ambush?
yes.
No. Me, I prepared for other topics, so
No. We're going to talk about all the topics.
because
But
it's your Monday.
I want you to speak about it on the angle because I think that you come from a place where
Awuthi you and
you've-
Nomdan. I'm joking.
that's true.
I'm trying to make you.
No, hold on.
I'm trying to destabilize you.
Not even that, but I remember when we first moved here and all the exiles started coming back, my mother's friends, right?
Yeah.
They used to call their mothers by their names.
Oh.
So
Mama.
shout out to
Oh,
Os
mama.
Mashadi. She's also on the street
Yes.
somewhere. My
Yes.
mom's friend.
On
Os
Church
Mashadi.
Street. Yeah.
Yeah, on Church Street right here.
Our hood.
So her kids would call her Mashadi. And we'd be like, hey, we're shocked.
Uzo shower.
You understand? So Americans don't understand that they call their mothers by names. And so, Ngwena, as I'd say, because I'm Tsonga, which is the plural
Oh, you're
of you.
Tonga.
Yeah, I'm a
I thought
Tsonga
you were
man.
colored.
I'm a mix
Okay.
of African nations.
Njengoba racist kanje.
We'll get to
mixture.
that. We'll get to
And
that.
ngifuna ukukhuza ngaleyo nto.
We'll get to
I
that.
don't handle racists very well because
Okay.
I'm multiracial.
Oh, yes, that's
Yeah,
true.
and I respect abomkhulu bami babelungu kakhulu.
Nami
Angifuni
ngiyabahlonipha.
nje ukuhlala. Utheni? Okay, sorry.
So yeah, so as I was getting to, so what I observed is that, at first when I saw your content, I was like, oh, this is misandry. Why does she hate men, right? And then you did an episode with Penwell, and unfortunately he interrupted you as you were, but you took a while to get to it. But what you spoke about was the betrayal that Black women felt or feel. Whether it's expressed or whether it's internalized, but the current system that we're in, you could call it paternalistic to an extent, even though Black men did not have power and rights and dominions over their own families within the colonial dispensation and
they need to get over that.
okay, that's fine. So express that anger that you have and that betrayal that you feel that Black men need to look at before they judge women harshly for not respecting them.
So I need to correct you on many levels.
Okay.
I'm not angry. I'm not an angry person.
Oh, that was my...
You're not an angry person.
Okay.
The misogyny in you
Mhm.
that is embedded in your DNA
Mm.
tells you that you should label a woman who is able to unapologetically
Mm.
do and say what she needs to
Mm.
as angry. So you fall victim to actual paternalism.
Mm.
And paternalism does not stem from African culture or genealogy or African existence at all. In fact, if you had listened carefully, I think I did take you through how
I listened
we
very
came
carefully.
to become what we
I
are,
listened.
right?
I remember that episode.
Children don't become naughty because they were born that way. No child is born naughty. Human beings are not born racist, right? You become racist through a whole lot of things that happen to you and through things that you allow to happen to you and sustain instead of changing, which is, the common factor that as human beings, as all living things, actually are governed by. We're governed by change. The molecules in our bodies are constantly in motion. Therefore, change should be literally how we live our lives, like every second. Of course, not to become psycho about it, but we have the power to change and transform, even from the greatest adversity. So because you were societally, maybe at some point, not you, because you were born in 1990.
But society,
because Africans at some point from, let's say, you can take it right back to the Arabic colonization, which predated the Roman colonization some thousands of years ago. The Caucasian colonization you complain about is very young compared to the Arabic and the Roman. But because of many, many circumstances, African men ended up believing that they were more victimized than African women, hence started adopting certain attitudes. And therefore, within the post-colonial environment, started adopting the very colonial, suppressive attitudes from the then colonial, population, not the current white people. They didn't colonize us, right? From the then colonial forces, imperialist forces from the British and the ones who came to, try to settle, and adopted that as a result of their response to try to protect their egos, their fragile egos, and then started defining. So it's un-African even for a black man to define a black woman as angry or as misogynistic or as anti-men or as hateful to men. It's very anti-African. The real African men understood that African women were actually the real leaders in their homes and in society, right? Real African men, if you go to any rural area now where you find truly indigenous African men, there still are some left who probably would be in their 90s, like my dad's age, who accept the leadership of women, who accept ukuthi khaya liphathwa umfazi. Umfazi never loses her identity ngesintu. Ayikho leyo nto. It came with Western improvisation that I become Mrs. Akho Mrs. ngesintu. Ngiba mangiyoshada angaze ngishade mina.
Okay.
Even nangesintu ukungashadi has a certain place within the hierarchy of leadership of African communities. Whether you look at it from the can I use the word royalty, the royal family side. I'll give you a classical example. Queen Zinga was what you call Angola today, Ndonga, which would have had a different map when it was called Ndonga. She led the most successful 40-year battle against both the Portuguese and the Dutch in Ndonga when she was the king. She refused to be called a queen because it's the same title. She was like, if ubaba minkosi ngiyinkosi nami.
Okay.
Why call me a queen just because I'm a female? I'm doing the same job and I'm doing it better than my dad and my brother put together, because they both died of depression because of the onslaught of the slave trade by the Portuguese. She led not only her people after her father died and her brother died who took over from her father, because there was no misogynistic, sexist, gender-determined roles in Africa.
Okay, so before...
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Before we move, I want to make sure we engage.
Yeah, I do. I just want to get clarity on when was
What am I saying?
When was her kingship? Was it before or after
This is the 16... This is before the official... So I don't want us to get into debates about 1652.
I'm just saying, had the Portuguese taken over?
The date 1652, let's take it as the official dates of the Dutch arriving here and whoever else. But we know it was earlier. But that's the official date for history to be localized. Before the Dutch came here, landed in Namibia, baqala, obviously they're coming from north to
Europe,
south.
yeah.
Bahamba ngayini lwandle lo on the west
Atlantic,
coast.
yeah.
So
The Gulf
them
of Guinea.
settling around Ndonga, Angola, if you know where Angola is.
Yeah.
But it's like Namibia, it's like
Yeah.
South Africa, part of it is coastal, part is inland. They then shifted from Angola around the 1640s. Maybe late 1640s, I could be wrong. Someone else will say 1650s, it's fine.
Yeah.
To the point where their official arrival here is noted as 1652. So that's the era when Quinzinga was the king, the head of the monarchy
Up until
of Angola. But what is important about her tenure is that she managed to stop the slave trade, like many other female heads of state at the time who took over from, let's say, their fathers or brothers as the kings. You'd call them queens, but as the head of that monarchy. It was only under female leadership in Africa, starting with Ethiopia, with Queen Candace, that slave trade, full-on colonization was actually stopped. Under all the male leadership, slave trade happened successfully. We know Africans sold African slaves to the Euro-Caucasian, let's call them tradesmen at the time, because really the people who were buying slaves were not necessarily colonizers.
The Jewish merchants.
They were not here to colonize and take over. They were looking for slaves. Because what you see, what we forget, we must locate history correctly. What we forget is that slavery was not unique to Africa. Slavery is not unique to Africa.
Elon Musk would be happy to hear you say that.
No, it's not Elon Musk. It's because you are very miseducated by yourselves. Because I don't want to blame the teachers. You guys are the most privileged generation. You've got access to knowledge anytime. You can do a deep dive anywhere on the web. You can even go into the dark web and find real information. Ningakwazi ukukhuluma nabantu abadala, but anisabahlonipha abantu abadala. Thina sinenhlanhla, because mina, when I was a kid, before 10, both my great-grandmothers, paternal and maternal, were still alive. People who were born in the 1900s. Are you with me? Early 1900s, late 1800s.
Yeah.
But
in the 19th century.
they can tell me real, not the history that you manipulate to suit yourself. So what was I saying earlier on? Your perception of a black woman and this definition of black women as angry by black men is very unfortunate, and it's wrong, and we must start correcting it. Medicine correct. Ni phume endleleni kakhulu nina NOTA.
Oh, well,
Futhi wena kakhulu. Uphume endleleni kakhulu kabi. Udinga ukukhishwa nje ubuyiswe.
Mina, I feel
Because
like I'm an example.
in Africa, there's no gender role for anybody in Africa. There's no such a thing. It was never there. Yinto eyenzeke when Europeans, you must go and study, because I see you've got a lot of data in your head. You must go and study when the Europeans, and I'm localizing it to Europeans because you are obsessed with Caucasoid colonization of Africa. You ignore the original, most brutal, which is the Roman and the Arabic. You focus on this teenager one, which actually even came with development, by the way. Not to say it didn't have trauma, right? And then you obsess about slavery as though it was only an African phenomenon. No. Indians didn't come here to look for slaves. Chinese didn't come here. The Chinese actually came quite often to Africa, because you must remember what you know as the Suez Canal, the Palestine. There was that was solid land. You could walk from here to Europe, to any continent. I'm talking way after the Big Bang. So the Chinese would come, and all our other fellow sort of black, darker skinned people. But they would not come to colonize. They would come to trade, look for things, study, do whatever, and leave and go back. Slavery was a form of, what shall I call it, of labor. And it was an acceptable form of labor. Even if you know that there's thousands of years of difference between the New Testament and the Old Testament, right? But even in the New Testament, God talks about slavery and even rewards his chosen with slaves as some sort of a reward. Are you with me? So it was an economic system. The difference, the reason, Giti, for us to develop as Africans, we need to analyze things that happened from a point of rationality more than emotions. Because what ends up happening is we misjudge situations, We misinterpret things that happen. We overly victimize ourselves. And you know what happens once you overly victimize yourself?
Well, I'd like you to actually express these things because, a lot of what you say I do agree with. But I feel like we don't actually have these conversations where someone is asked a question about their perspective and given the opportunity to maybe re-express it, because you did express it a lot on the Penwell show.
Yeah.
From my perspective,
at some point he was saying me,
No, I was watching that show. That's the thing. Is that
no, in fact, there were people who were commenting. I don't read the comments on these shows, right? But I heard, I was told that there are people who are saying, yeah, Mandisa was, and your generation must stop calling me Mandisa. Ingane yami na 31, angisu Mandisa mina.
Sis Mandisa.
Ngumama, angisinawo sisi wakho.
Oh, well, to me.
Ngumama.
To me.
Anina inhlonipho, let me be very honest. Let me tell you, I was in politics, unfortunately, for about 8 years, and I abandoned my corporate career, which was quite illustrious. But I don't regret it because I was able to impart and also learn other things that, it's a topic that I like, and I think I made very good contributions. But one of the things I picked up in the political space was the differences between I wouldn't say generation, because a generation is 30 years. Me and you don't have a generational gap.
Okay.
Yeah. Even me and my daughter, we are in the same generation. Because ngimzaling na 20. I was pregnant in 19, ngimzaling na 20.
Yeah.
Your generation, let me put it that way, just so that everybody understands, right? Nihluke kakhulu kunathi because of certain bad traits that you've picked up on your own. And you didn't pick it up from white people. Because I can guarantee you, abantwana babelungu are not disrespectful to their elders. They might speak freely, but they are not disrespectful. Must not misinterpret it as disrespect. Nina, nithathe isilungu nasidlulisa. Thina sikhule sishawa. Sikhule sazi ukuthi awukhulumi the way uthanda ngakhona nomuntu omdala. Sikhule sazi ukuthi umuntu omdala uhlonishwa nje automatically. You might feel that's toxic, but we also got the rewards of that from elders, right? We got rewarded for that. And the biggest reward that we got was also the art of understanding that once sihlonipha ngaleyo ndlela, longevity is guaranteed. And we learn. And we also understood life is a cycle. I was 1 year old one day. I was 10 years old. I knew ukuthi linda isikhathi sakho sokuba umuntu omdala siyeza. Don't jump ama stage. Uba umntwana hlonipha uma utshelwa, even if you feel ukuthi lo muntu omdala uyakubhedela. You can't say it in their face. Go behind the house uyotshela izintanga zakho. Nina aninayo leyo nto, and because aninayo leyo nto, you rob yourself of an opportunity to learn, to be schooled, to be tempered. Do you know what it is to be tempered? Ukuthi uyehliswe, ubohliswe. In your case, I understand because, by the way, I think you're an amazing young man. But I think, it does happen often. And shame, this is no judgment on abazali bakho. Ngiyabashonipha mina abantu abadala. In fact, abantu abadala behlezi bangithanda. Mina, I'm always a darling of old people.
Yeah, no, same here. Same here. Well, no, I'm
abantu abafana nami nawe.
Yeah.
If abantu abadala basithanda kakhulu abogogo bethu, we siba overindulged. And uma unabazali abakuzale sebabadala. That often happens. You become so overindulged because your parents are calmer when they're no longer, at 20, umntana umshaya every day. But masozala umntana kuboma 40, 45.
I mean, abangishaya until I was 14.
Namanje bekumele ngabasakushaya.
I'm just a little too tall now.
Yeah, I would if I could.
They fed me too well.
Yes.
Early childhood development, early childhood nutrition. I'm sorry. Like my parents are shorter than me. I took a picture with my parents and I was like, damn, how the hell are you guys so short? You must have starved as kids. My parents are shorter than me. You are belittling them. I'm not belittling them. I'm grateful for the fact that they had an opportunity to do better than their parents. I'm evidence that my parents could feed their children better than their parents could feed them. Me being taller than my parents. Because of early childhood nutrition is what contributes to growth.
No, Nota. Ooh, Nota.
Okay. Let's not go there. Let's not go there into the medical.
Even if you were fed caviar, you are not better fed than your parents. Tina sikhule ama GMOs angekho kule level. Do you know why do you know why the children today, besides the overexposure to sexual content
and the chemicals
and the abuse by adults who abuse
I watched
privilege,
Lake. I could see.
It's the food.
Yeah.
Everything that you eat, it's hormone pumped. Abantwana bamantombazana go to puberty earlier. Even boys.
Yes.
Your sexual drive is also psychologically and neurologically stimulated
Some
by
people even have
watching
man
content
boobs.
that you should not be watching. Other children, it's because of poverty. The Masquata camp,
Mm.
there's no space. So abantu abadala bayenza izinto zabantu abadala, abantwana babhekile, there's no privilege of privacy, right? So there's a lot of context to it. But I'm just saying, never ever in your life, ungaphinda uyisho, ngifuna ukukubuyisa kule nto bongibuza yona. It's exactly like this nonsense that I'm angry. Ungaphinde and call a woman angry.
Okay, no, I won't.
Ungaphinde empilweni yakho. Ngisho ne-girlfriend yakho. Even when she's angry, don't call her angry because she's really going to do things to you. And then inamadoda, let me tell you also your weaknesses, ne?
Yeah.
So indoda manje. So indoda.
I'm 34.
Ngizobathi uphuma nasejele.
Yeah.
Yeah, so indoda manje. Yeah. Nina madoda, the biggest mistake you make is to undermine women, especially black men. Do you know? Let me tell you. Do you know white men treat us black women better than you people
No,
do?
they don't.
Are you a woman?
No,
Are you
I'm
a black
man.
woman?
I'm a man. And I grew up with whites. And the thing is this, is that our sisters, because going to the white society gives you economic benefits, they think that they're being treated better. But you're not being treated better.
So we must know how the treatment feels based on your perception of it.
I'm telling you as an observer who's had white male friends.
I'm telling you as an experiencer.
You can experience it.
Yeah.
But you experiencing it, right? You must understand that I'm as a man. I could be the most evil man in the world. I could want something bad to happen to a girl.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not going deep. I'm not going deep. I'm saying to you, I'm talking about social interactions nabelungu. I'm not talking about
all of them are
it doesn't matter. But let me tell you something what a woman needs from a man.
What?
Fake it. Rather fake it, NOTA.
No, I cannot.
Because abantu besifazane are much, much more dangerous than you.
Yeah, we know that. I've learned.
Much. Because our physical muscles are 50% weaker than yours.
Therefore, your manipulation muscles.
It's not manipulation.
Okay.
One, we are superior to you in many ways.
Yes.
Right? We breed, we take your sperm and we process it.
Yeah.
And we give a baby to you.
Yeah.
Number
but we
one.
decide if it's male or female. Yeah, that's the most heinous thing.
Two, umuntu wesifazane has got an intuition much sharper than yours. Much sharper than yours. Umuntu wesifazane, it's like animals and humans. We think we're more intelligent than animals, we're not. Even a bird is much more intelligent than us. Watch how a bird makes its nest. Watch how a bird protects its eggs. Watch how a bird doesn't mollycoddle its child. When the child gets to a certain age, it moves out of the nest, because it knows what if it mollycoddles that child and him spoil, it knows that it's actually putting that little bird in danger and it's putting the future life of its species in danger. It will not be able to survive in the real world and procreate and make its own nest. And so your wings now, you must go and learn. You keep it. You pick up until it can fly and lets it out quickly. So be very careful how you character analyze women. It's those politics, those gender politics. There's ways of handling men. There's ways that we have to handle men. Okay. Right? But we are more sharper than you in that regard. That is why umuntu wesifazane uyakwazi ukuhlala nendoda nonsense nje yomuntu for years. Long before I decide ukumlahla. I'm strategizing. Angaboni lo. Sloku yebo baba, because you have that fragile ego that we can manipulate very easily and you won't even know.
So, okay, tell me two things. The paternalism that we're experiencing right now. Yes. How does it affect politics as someone who's been in there for 8 years? And
I was in politics longer, but full-time 8 years.
Okay, within party politics, let's say for 8 years.
No. I was in party politics probably most of my life. My family in Mpumalanga and in the Eastern Cape.
But where in Mpumalanga?
Witbank, Nelspruit, White River, Leidenburg, Graskop, Bushbuck, Rechkoma Pulaning. Yeah. Singamapulane, but ungangikhulumisi ngesipulane.
Okay. I've been to all those areas and those are very beautiful areas actually.
It's the most beautiful part. The only thing Mpumalanga needs, the low-felt part of Mpumalanga, not Witbank. Because it's a Witbank. Yeah. It has a Witbank. Yeah. The beautiful part of Mpumalanga.
I know. When you go to Leidenburg, when you drive...
Emalahleni is also beautiful actually. Let me not berate it. But it gives you electricity.
Well, let's say the beauty of Emalahleni, right? Yeah. has sacrificed itself
Yes.
for us to have
For
lights.
us to have development, actually, because there's no development without energy, right?
I know that
Like
actually.
energy is the first part.
That's the most important
it's the
thing.
first
So
part, yeah.
the paternalism within the politics sphere that you experienced, and then number two, the I guess youthful exuberance, but you call it ukdelela of the youth. How was that setting us back from our democratic objectives as a country?
So firstly, the obsession with democracy must also start to temper down, because democracy doesn't mean anything. The first definition of this country is that it's a
You're gonna
republic.
fight, okay? Please.
No, it's fine. I don't mind. I don't read these
Yeah, but
comments.
please explain, because some of our viewers, they've never
so
opened the book.
maungakazi ufunde, you must
Yeah.
keep quiet.
Okay,
Yeah, ungaloku uba yi-keyboard warrior.
that's true, but
Yeah.
you know,
No.
explain for
That's
them.
what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
The problem with this current, the younger people, right, is that nizohlupheka kakhulu ukudlula thina. Because of that
Already
problem.
sesiyahlupheka
Because
ukudlula nina.
anilaleli,
Asinamsebenzi.
anifundiseki, anicoacheki ngoba nindwebile, you know what I mean?
DJ Zinhle says we're unemployable.
No, that's not true. That's definitely not true.
Okay, then what is
You're
ukundweba?
definitely not. Ukundweba ngesixhosa. I'm not very good in isiXhosa, right?
okay.
But I know it based because nami ngidwebile. Umama
Okay.
bekahlala ngitshela ukuthi ngidwebile as a
Yeah.
child. I was like you as a child.
Yeah.
Umuntu ondwebile, umuntu ngizothini ngesilokisho olastar.
Okay.
Yabona?
Yeah.
Can I say it in Afrikaans?
Yeah.
Ogat.
Ogat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know when they say die kind is
It's Ogat. Yeah.
like
Says lastig.
yeah, balastar.
Yeah.
Nindwebe grits. My mom is Xhosa.
No.
So, okay, let's be serious. The paternalism thing. You were asking about the paternalism
Yeah,
thing
well,
and
you've gone past
the
the
democracy
youth.
thing.
You've gone past the youth.
And the democracy
Yeah.
thing. And what was your real core question? What do you want to
Well,
know? Tell me what you want to know.
So-
Simplify it.
Where we started,
Yeah.
right? I wanted to actually get an understanding on your critique of masculinity
Yeah.
in Africans.
Yeah.
And how it shapes our society today.
Yeah.
And how does that shape the politics, the paternalism that's
Just the politics or just our society as a whole?
Well, I mean,
and
we're going to go through
development
topics.
issues.
We're going to go through
Okay.
a lot of topics, but that's the theme.
Yeah. So I don't blame men. Firstly, I don't hate men. No, I don't. I never blame. No, let me tell you, I'm actually a daddy's girl. I'm a typical daddy's girl.
Like
I'm such a daddy's girl.
But you know, like some of the things
Like
you
my
said.
best friends are men.
That's fine.
Like,
I
literally.
hear you, but you know some of the things you said on some of the episodes. The thing is that they're too painfully true, and the way you said them as well. You know,
Angifuni iqiniso.
no, it's not about that. You never shared the fact that you actually have empathy for men. Like
I don't have to.
I know that
I
you
don't
didn't.
owe you. I mean,
But
kumele
as the
nizithande.
viewers,
No,
yes.
but kumele nizithande, Nan. You can't. Let me tell you, I'm a public relations practitioner by profession, right? I'm a major in communication science. I actually left a scholarship. I've got a nice scholarship that I'm still going to do my master's. And up to now, I'm deciding I love communications as a science. No, I'm
Let me
not
get
that
my
type.
undergrad at least.
I'm not that type. No, I'm not that type. No, so you should have not. Oh, I thought you were saying I'm not that type. I'm not fraudulent. No, I had too many things to do. No, they gave me the scholarship, and unfortunately, I just, my umtana mbekasa cool. I couldn't take
I'll
it.
give you
So I
my
was just saying
Providence
that-
Fund and my pension.
I was just saying that like kube woman empowerment here. I'm saying that one of my favorite. I don't know what to pick in my master's and my PhD. I actually there's something called recognition of prior learning. I'm sorry to say, but I have a master's already. They should just take me to the PhD. Ngioyenza ngiskiphe i-masters.
Nice.
I'm a cum laude. But and also I'm a maths and science. So I started off in medicine, but I really like the social sciences. So I didn't really want to do medicine just because I was brainy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's not my thing. But what I wanted to
Or is
say
it
was
not because there was so much pressure on being a doctor because you're brainy?
I know, yeah. No,
Back
no.
then, that
But
was the
also, you know what I
stereotype.
learned? The toxicity of black families so that I can become a proper breadwinner.
Okay, toxicity or
Ngizokhulisa laba bantu.
stereotypes.
Yeah, like be a doctor, sizokhoma ngawe, you understand?
So when were you
Uzofundisa
born
wonke
in
umuntu,
order of your siblings?
1973.
No, in order of your siblings.
I'm number 2.
So
No,
you-
I'm not number 2 kubaba wami. Ubaba
Okay.
wami nginumber
But to your mother.
Ubaba unabo abanye abantwana.
Okay.
Not with my mom.
So you were the oldest from your mother.
Umamam number 2.
You're the second.
Ubaba maybe number 3 or 4.
You have an older brother?
I have, yes, one older brother that I partly knew, but Angsama's is
From your
actually one
mother's
of the
side or your
reasons I
father's
want to
side?
make a lot of money. Ngifuna ukuyomfuna. My father, my mom, umamam unabantwana no
You know,
babam.
I've got a sad story I
Ngifuna
relate to that.
ukuyofuna umntana kababam because me and him look alike. He's like a splitting image of me, ngimgcine ngisasemncane. And I'm a splitting image of my dad, so he looks exactly like
Can
my
I
dad.
tell you what I told myself?
But I don't want to talk about him too
No, no,
much
I'm not-
because
I'm not-
in case
I'm
he
saying-
sees the episode, right?
No, I don't want to go
Because
into
there's some
the...
sensitivities.
So, I mean...
But akusumntana kamawami, you understand?
But
Yeah.
I don't have a grandfather from my mother's side.
Oh,
Right?
shame, sorry.
So I've always... No, yeah, I never...
Your
never
mom's dad.
Yeah,
our
my mom's dad.
ma's,
And my mother's mother died in 1963 when my mother was only 5.
long before you were born.
Yeah,
oh,
my mother was
shame.
only 5 at
oh,
the time.
Uma Wako is like my mom. My mom
She
also
grew up in an
lost her
orphan.
mom. She was very young.
So as a kid, I told myself that Nelson Mandela is my granddad.
Yes, of course. You chose well. You chose well.
I just said, you know what?
You couldn't have chosen
Since
better.
you know.
And you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. Ukuthi, your intuition was linking you to somebody who probably is a lot like your real granddad. You know what I mean?
It's just that, you know, when I looked at my mother's pictures as a kid,
Were they from the same Zemtiti class?
no,
From
not
what
really.
you know about your granddad?
Not my mother's side.
Okay, on
my
your father's side.
yeah.
Ngiyajuluka manje, I need to...
You need some tissue.
I need tissue, but I hope people don't think it's untidy. Actually, just out of respect, I'm saying that I don't really...
No, it's the
Doesn't bother
lights.
me
It's
much.
the lights. They're very
I know,
bad.
ngiyajuluka. Okay,
So-
the question was, ngifuna ukuyiphendula,
Yeah,
so-
no. So we're going back to the paternalism issue.
Yeah,
Right.
and how I think the youth must what?
Because
Thank you.
No, the youth, you've already answered that and explained that well.
Okay.
Thank you. Because you know, from what I was sensing, and I sensed this a lot from another colleague of ours within this space, Usisintigi Mazwai.
Oh goodness, is the tissue on my face?
No, you look perfect.
Thank you.
You look perfect. So you know, and through my discussions with her, right, I got the sense that you know. It's incumbent upon us as men to acknowledge that the position that Black women find themselves in particular, right, at the bottom of the food chain when it comes to vulnerability, just in general, in our society, is directly as a result of our failure to protect them when needed. And also as a result of us preying on their vulnerability as well. And there's a part of me as a guy that wants to defend the guys.
And also some women not having the skills to know sometimes how to deal with males, whether in a social environment, in a business environment, in a work environment, in a school environment, in a church environment. You know what I mean?
Okay, please explain.
Look, I'm not victim blaming, but I'm not a victimhood person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe women are victims of Black men all the time. There are explanations for all of these things, but
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing is that all of us as Black men and Black women, we need to come out of victimhood now.
Yes.
Because the reality is that ikufana nokufeyila eklasini.
Okay.
The reality is that you have to go back, you repeat to pass.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you don't go back,
Okay.
that's the real failure.
Okay. So
Do you
now,
understand?
what is that
so when we
grade?
get stuck in victimhood, we are like umuntu ongafuni ukubuyela yopasa or change the course and move on and progress, right?
So let's say
the
it's high
reality
school.
is
Let's
that
say it's high school. Né? There's 5 grades. We're at whatever, standard 6. né?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're at standard 6 of learning what we need to do to
Standard 6 is
fulfill
grade 8. Yeah.
our role as men.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, we like pushing back on saying women shouldn't define what real men are. But for the sake of this conversation, right, I don't want us to personalize it as men.
Yeah.
I want also the guys hearing and also for my benefit.
Yeah.
Thank you, since I have you here.
Do you have a girlfriend? Or are you married?
I
Are you
don't know.
married?
No, I'm divorced. I'm recently divorced.
Oh, you were married?
Yeah. I
Oh,
was
okay.
married, yeah.
Okay, let's not go there.
Yeah. So for the sake of this conversation.
But good for you, because I've never been married. I've never even tried. I didn't want to. Like, okay,
I've also never seen
not
you in
like
a
I haven't
bikini.
had opportunities, but like I just never wanted to be married until the age of 50. So it was also a deliberate thing. But I'm just saying, well done.
It could happen.
Well done. No, I think umuntu oshadile wat divorce is much better than me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, angazi ngishade. Like, I was not that brave.
I won't lie, divorce was the biggest failure of my life. And
No, it's not a failure.
Well,
Don't define it as a failure.
I felt it. I felt it takes a while to get out of that. So when we're looking at the stage that we're at right now, in this standard 6 of men, take us through a process on standard 7, standard 8, until we matriculate to the point where we see women as our partners in building our society, and that there's mutual respect. So
there is a little bit of victimhood, self-pity that I'll allow you. Okay. You know, the recent colonial epoch was really brutal. I don't never ever think that I'm basically
trivializing
it, or giving white people a a pass, some sort of
get out of jail for free card.
Get out of jail free card. No, I'm not. What I'm saying is, kusizani to lament forever, because what then happens is you waste time lamenting. Instead of lamenting, we could be analyzing.
We're still stuck at standard 6.
We could be analyzing, we still. So victimhood is what I was saying. To get up and dust themselves off after a bankruptcy, after failing, after a divorce, even after death, because the reality is that even the Bible says it, like I must do what I do culturally,
but we can't worship bones.
But I cannot be living with a dead person, So there's a point where if you don't move on and you get stuck in the complaining, the entire society becomes underdeveloped. Let me tell you something that you need to think about. Think about the whole world and all the races of the world and all the nations of the world, and ask yourself which nation is the weakest militarily? Which race group is the weakest militarily? It's the African. I'm not talking about where black people are abusing each other. Kuma civil wars, whatever these petty clashes are about, even if we know that the people who are involved are the people with the money who want the minerals and create the conflicts. But that's not an excuse. If someone comes into your house and Luis, at the end of the day, you are to blame for allowing them to do that. Do you understand? No amount of, they dangled R1 billion in my face, therefore I had to kill my sister. No.
Yeah, your family loyalty is above that.
No. So you see that smirk that you gave me? That's exactly why the black society is a failure. We are the weakest militarily. The Arabs can fight. They've been fighting. You see all these wars between the Middle East and America and Britain.
Even us as the South Africans.
The Chinese have a military that you can't. You can't defeat. If the Chinese have not been involved in a war, by the way, since World War II. You don't know their strength. If they have to get into a war now.
Well, they've got strength in numbers as well.
If they have to, let's forget the numbers. Don't think like a baby. This is an adult conversation. I'm asking you, I want to come back to about the role of men in our society, especially as Africans, as black people. Let's say as black people.
No, I see where you're going. I see where you're going.
But it's a fact.
I'm a black man.
We are the weakest nation in the world. We are the weakest race group. If the Arabs and the Russians and the Chinese and that group, Koreans, North Koreans at least, for the purposes of my example, and the Indians, just decide we're no longer nice to these guys. The Westerners have milked them, they've sweated that asset enough. It's our turn. They'll take us over in a week. We're not organized. We don't have a military. We're not strong. And you know where it starts? In the household. In South Africa, the last stats I checked, Stats SA has the study. If you have time, go to their website.
They're posting this.
If you go, and you know what's the scary part? The scary part is that this is the same in the US. So in all colonial settler economies where there were African slaves that were taken there, it's the same in the US. It's probably the same in Australia. I'm not sure about New Zealand, right?
Probably this similar.
We have no men in our households. And I'm talking real men, ubaba, who's taking care. We are on our own, and we are often blamed for being on our own. I out of my own free will, decided not to marry because based on my own circumstances.
You didn't want to marry white?
No, I didn't want to marry.
But you didn't want to marry white as well? Because the things that you're saying that black
Oh,
men don't
no,
have.
I see. You're asking me if I would have wanted to marry white. Yeah, I would have married. I dated a couple of white
So-
guys. I had an opportunity to marry somebody, but I did not want to marry. It had nothing to do with the race group.
Yeah, you didn't want to marry, number
I
one.
did not want
and you
to
also
marry.
didn't want to settle for marrying white or marrying out of.
No, I
black
did not want to marry. You see, so you
subjugation.
don't think in racial lines all the time.
No, I'm saying both are true.
Mangiti, I did not want to marry. It has nothing to do with white, black. I just did not want to marry. I'm heterosexual, so it would have been a man. I just was not ready for marriage. I knew because of my own circumstances, and that's taking responsibility. I wanted to marry when I was ready, when I was psychologically ready, when I was emotionally ready, when I was spiritually ready, when I dealt with my childhood traumas, because I knew I had traumas. I might not have known how to deal with them, and I did not
wanted
want
to marry perfect.
I did not want to take them into another relationship. You understand?
But
'Cause
why?
now I understand. No, I didn't want to. You can't say, but why? It's
No,
my own personal choice.
Okay.
It's my
Outside-
right. Na inkinga
It's your
yena
right.
madoda. Na inkinga yena
No, mina,
madoda.
it's just out of
Na
curiosity.
inkinga yena
It's out
madoda.
of curiosity.
Umuntu wesifazane makangafuni ukushaya. Yeah, it was after 94. I
Nama
had a
ufuna
right.
ukulobola kungenamali.
It was after, but that's exactly what I'm saying.
But
Ukuthi-
we both are the same. There's
I'm-
women that are being
Ngiphendula
pressured.
lento the long way. I'm
Yeah.
saying to you, have
And there's men.
the global view of it.
Okay.
Instead of being micro, oh, what about our feelings? You guys are too fragile. Man up. Iba namadoda man, qinani. We don't feel safe around you. I feel more safe around a group of white men, even colored men and Indian men. Because the behavior of white men and colored men and Indian men around women is not suppressive. You saying they are playing us. It's okay. Rather play me. Play me. Don't show me your ugly monkey inside
Hidden
you.
intentions, yeah.
Don't. And I'm not meaning monkey in any other way. I just mean the ugliness in you. Be a man.
Mischievous instead of mischievous. Instead of monkey. Nah.
I'm feeling very safe. Because
There's a lot of women here.
no. I'm one female now. And
Oh.
nina ngamadoda. I know
And you
ukuthi
are Shayana.
mangangena umuntu la. No, mina ngiyikwana. Yo, haven't I told you? Abakaze bakutshele. Mina
No.
empini, I'm the first to run. Ukuze
No.
amaphoyisa singenele
But you
legislature
see,
20.
you're light-skinned and you've got no scars on your face, so I believe you.
No, ngiyazithanda.
No, coming from your generation,
Ngeke ngikwazi.
being light-skinned
Kodwa-
without a scar on your
Kodwa
face is congratulations.
Mina let me tell you, mina ngenkathi zambuza usibu. I say, why? Mina ngenkathi bengigroove, strong like bengingapheli kuma 6 to 6. Anwazi nina ama 6 to 6 ama street bash.
Yeah.
I would be the last group bengijiva from 6 to 6. Because we had the guys we hung out with then. Nathi we were real women. We never
Yeah.
went out singana meter takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rose taxi.
No, I went
We
out.
never depended on men ngaleyo ndlela.
I depended on my dad. I knew that I could catch a
Yeah,
maxi taxi
wena.
at any point in time. My figure
We didn't have
I wake
daddies.
up my dad.
We didn't have daddies
at
and
4.
brothers to do that for
After
us.
Daddy Rose.
Thina sisema vet take sikuphi siqinile phela thina singama free range. Siqinile
As a young woman.
we moved from rural areas to townships to boarding schools to
Why were your dads not
multiracial
around?
schools. We were very No, my dad was around.
No,
but
no, I'm
ngimdala
just a
phela
general.
manje.
No, I understand
as
that.
a young woman. No, me, my parents were married.
No, as students,
My
as young
fa-
women that came to Joburg because you came from
No,
Mpumalanga.
because I need to. We actually did. Nobody was. Even if there was a vet take in Mpumalanga, bengizofuna ukuze eGoli.
That's fine. But you're a black
bengifuna ukuze
woman.
eGoli.
Yeah.
Or bengifuna ukuye Cape Town.
Yeah.
Or bengifuna ukuye Grahamstown.
Yeah.
Or bengifuna ukuye Natal.
Yeah.
Or bengifuna ukuye UFS.
But doesn't matter where you went, ne? There's
Yeah.
no university that's in a black suburb. So
No,
the
they
likely-
were
Which ones?
Vista.
Okay, that's in Soweto, yes.
No, Vista. No, you know his
Isn't it
problem
so,
here.
right?
Luna. Yeah, but what ended you up in jail?
Yeah, that's what I. Yeah, I know very well.
I'm looking at his facial expression ngoba he's a know-it-all. He doesn't even know ukuthi ama university awafika ngane ANC guys. ANC has not built one new university.
My family
Don't
went to
tell me about
Forte.
Mpumalanga University.
They went to
Mpumalanga University is
Vista.
a high school. So
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I'm talking about it like
there
this, right?
every major metropolitan had universities under black administration, right?
Yes, no, that I
But
understand.
under the apartheid government,
Yeah.
and even under the Bantustans. So
Yeah.
think. Let
No,
me tell
that
you.
I get. That I
Forte,
get.
University of Zululand,
Yeah.
University of Qwaqwa,
I'm removing
University
all the
in
black universities because
Limpopo,
Limpopo.
Teflop,
Yeah, Univen.
universities, technical colleges,
Univo.
Mgwenya,
All
educational,
of those places.
nursing colleges. No, guys,
We had everything, yes,
the
during apartheid.
Okay, do you know that all this infrastructure we're talking about, was catapulted by the National Party government.
Yes.
From 1948 minus 1994 to 1948, give me the number of years. I want to tell you something quickly.
Yes.
I'm not digressing.
38. What?
No,
Yes.
it's 46 years, I think. 1948, when the Nats are the National Party,
Yeah.
took over up to 94.
Yeah.
They
Should be
built
38 years.
thousands of schools in 46 years. Yeah, 46 years.
Okay.
They built thousands of schools, thousands of clinics, thousands of hospitals, thousands of technicons, thousands of colleges, thousands of research, scientific research. I'm talking in the black areas, including the Bantustans, in 46 years, with old technology, with tipper trucks that could not move as fast as now. The amount of
38
development you
years without
had
sanctions.
under the so-called racist government was much more in value, in quantity, in output,
Much more in value.
in economic value.
Have you been to Gateway
Oh my goodness.
Shopping Center? Have you seen those 3 bridges?
Angiyeke le conversation.
Zuma.
Umuntu
No,
ufuna
I'm
compare-
just saying.
umuntu compare i-mall Butsbu,
Nama bridge.
with a mall. So he puts more value.
No, I'm
you
not-
see what's the
not the
problem of the
mall.
failure
No, I'm not
of
talking about the mall.
You're putting more value
I'm talking about the bridge.
on a consumerist capitalist entity like a mall that has no value in your life
No, forget
whatsoever.
the mall. The bridge.
versus-
The bridge that leads to the
How
mall.
mega nane man. Hey.
There's no apartheid infrastructure that looks like that good. Yeah.
That bridge even was not built to support direct primary development. It was there to support a capitalist project, which is a mall and hotels, etc. Of course, they provide jobs and whatever, but under the current epoch, the jobs are not the quality of jobs our parents had. During our time, if you got a job, it was almost automatic. If you were not a temp, you have a medical aid, you have a housing subsidy. It was almost automatic in any job, right? So now you've got a lot less value. Yes, of course, the rand value has increased and all of that. I want to summarize lento yakho yabantu besilisa nokuthi how to improve gender relations. There isn't a problem with gender relations actually amongst Black people. There's a development problem amongst Black people in our populations. There's an organizational problem. We're not organized. Every other race group is organized except us. That's why I was telling you that Africa is the weakest continent because it has no military power to speak of. It has no technological knowledge. It has no development capacity. Africa cannot build. South Africa can, and under the National Party and the British it could, and it did up to a certain extent, but it was stopped by the political struggles in South Africa.
Yeah.
The apartheid government was already working on a rail line from here to Cairo. They had a very clear development plan. Had they remained in government, they would have continued with it,
And
right?
had they not
but
had
it was
sanctions.
then disrupted by everything else that needed to happen, by the way. But obviously the negotiations involved all those development plans that they must continue, but they didn't continue, they halted. So your current so-called Black government, because it's racist also to define a government as a white government and a Black government. It was okay during the racist era to define a white government as a white government. It was okay for that time. But to continue defining government in racial terms is racist, and Black people must accept that. Black men must accept that they don't have the authority, the power, the legal standing, there's a word I'm looking for. As men, if
status.
you want to be seen as men, right? You don't have that status. You don't have it. Disclaimer. That's why gender-based violence is so rife amongst Africans.
So you guys are pitying us.
That's why abuse of women is so rife amongst Black men.
So you guys feel sorry for us?
No, we don't feel sorry for you.
No, but I'm just saying.
But we don't feel sorry for you. That one is
Then why
we don't
do
feel sorry
you
for you because we know your capabilities.
marry us? Okay.
We know
Okay.
what you are made of. We gave birth to you. We know what you are capable of. But you fail yourselves. No one needs to give you anything. You need to take it, but not violently, not aggressively. Development doesn't happen on its own. Doesn't happen on its own. It's a deliberate exercise. There's investors and financiers that came together and what you call EPCs. And EPC is an engineering, procurement, and construction firm. They just used to be called construction firms in the olden days, but with the advent of development in the capitalist sectors, development has now been globalized, which I am against, by the way. I'm against globalization, but it's very dominant, and in order to reverse it and come back to what the National Party government used which is localization, we need to act within the globalist structures and then bring it back. Yeah, you can't. It's too strong. You can't overpower it.
So now we're at grade 11 of accepting that we have failed.
You're not taking charge. You're not taking charge.
We're not taking charge. We're just accepting.
You are not taking charge. You are too stuck in victimhood. You are obsessed with race. The white man is laughing at you. And let me tell you, white men are not laughing at black women. I'll give you a small secret. White men even prefer to do business with black women. There's a study that was issued. There's a conversation that Johan Rupert had. I don't know whether he had it on Power FM or another platform.
Yeah, it was the chairman's conversation.
Yes, and he was very accurate. But because black men, your egos are so fragile, you are inverted. That's what I call it. I call it an inverted psychological state of being. That's my own analysis. It's not there's no psychologist who did a study.
Okay.
Your egos are too high and your self-esteems are too low. It should be the other way around. Your self-esteems must be high and your egos must be very low.
So, Sis Mandisa,
Nina nila.
how do we
That's
get to
the
metric?
problem. You want women, the same women that you call angry. It's our responsibility.
We don't know better.
Mina ngizobuyisa isithunzi sedlozi lami kuphela. I'm not bringing back isithunzi sendoda ephilayo ehambayo. Buyisani izithunzi zenu.
You can save one woman's son.
Hlukanani ne-corruption.
Okay.
You are too in love with corruption.
What is corruption? What is corrupt?
Just, okay, let's start with this horrific government corruption that is leading us to the crisis we are in now, where there's no money to do anything.
Okay.
Do you know that government doesn't have money for salaries? It's not a joke. You know when Cyril said, when President
Even ANC
Cyril...
hasn't paid
I actually
salaries.
like Cyril, by the way. I didn't vote for the ANC. I haven't voted for the ANC in many, many years. But I love Cyril because he's my kind of guy. You understand? Like he's from that generation. And that's very disrespectful. That is disrespectful and that is even racist from a black person to do that.
He's Venda.
Don't do that.
They're the Jews of Africa.
Do you know why I left politics? Because I partly got tired of the toxicity of a population, a group of young people who were disrespectful, thinking that they are radical.
Insult. Ooh, okay, let's not go there.
Insulting people on the basis of what they look like. Calling me short. I'm short. So what?
Sorry. So all those people that taught my generation to be disrespectful.
No one taught you.
Okay, the role models that we copying.
No one taught you.
But
you
learn like
decided
that.
No, take responsibility. That's what
I do take responsibility.
Mamela, I mean, we are moving with the conversation. Take responsibility as black men. Stop this thing. White people did this to us. Indians did this to us. Amakhaladi asenzeni. Abelungu basenzeni. Ibhosi yami abafuna ukunginika increase. Ngiyatoyitoya. I'm burning. When are you building?
Can I give you a perspective?
You know that we are so useless as the black nation. The one thing we are very good at is destroying perfectly working things. Perfectly functioning things, we come and destroy it. But even with that, we should have used destruction as a strength and said, let's build bombs.
Okay.
I need to be at destroyers. We can't even build a bomb. There's no
I
bomb.
can build bombs actually, but I'll tell you why.
Don't build bombs.
No, I used to make bombs as a kid, but
It's like how we threw petrol bombs, right?
No,
But that's
we used to
exactly,
make landmines.
but that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
That as the black nation, we need to take ourselves seriously. We can't be known for destroying everything. You know, in America, what was that guy called? The one
I
who
was planning to chase all the white people away when I was a kid.
Was trampled there? What was his name in
George
America?
Floyd.
Do you know how much infrastructure destruction they brought to the States?
I know, I saw that. The Black Lives Matter.
And to this date, even in America, let me tell you the failure of black people. And it is a failure of Africans. Go to America and go to every city and town that has a mayor who is black. And go and look at the condition of that city.
It's messed up. Eric Adams.
Stop saying...
Eric Adams came out with a dustbin. You know those dustbins that we got in South Africa, like maybe in year 2000, those ones?
No, dustbin guys.
No, I know. He brought them out in New York in 2023. I couldn't believe
So
it.
everywhere,
I was like,
everywhere. And here's the important thing, because you laugh when you're supposed to become serious.
Actually, I shouldn't be laughing at that. He's a black man.
Even more. Everywhere where a black person has been in charge, Verwoerd said it, Hendrik Verwoerd said it, and many white people have said it. And you call them racist because they're pointing out a fact. They're pointing out an algorithm. You must be able to identify a trend. Say, but this is a trend. Okay, after acknowledging it's a trend, is it a positive trend? Is it a negative trend? That's how you develop and you change and you innovate. Everywhere a black person takes over an administration, a governance, a company, anything, you can look at all the BE companies where that were majority black run, right? Look at Itala Bank, look at VBS, look at the entire government, look at all municipalities, look at all provincial governments. You destroy. You destroy, you plunder, you steal, and you even romanticize the stealing. I'll never ever. Akekho umuntu ozongi-intimidate mina la emhlabeni ngeqiniso. Go to America and look at every municipality that is run by a black person. It's trash. It has been trashed. Look at when the black people first took it over. What did it look like? Forget the race relations. Forget whether there was a right-winger, a Hitler. Forget. Look at the condition of that infrastructure. Look at the joblessness or the employment status in relation to the population numbers at the time, because you must look at ratios. Don't say, you know, people always say when I tell them, like in 94, the unemployment rate in South Africa was below 10%. You can't relate to that. It's like an unheard of thing. It's like you're lying. In the townships.
That's less than half
in the
of
township,
the American unemployment rate.
Example. In the township, townships were quiet during the day.
Actually, I can relate to that. Can I tell you why? Because my mother went on maternity leave, which means getting fired back in the days when she went on maternity leave.
Which year was that?
1990, when I was born.
No. Black women had full maternity rights.
No, my mother didn't. Okay.
No. Stop that. I don't know why your mother got fired. I'm really sorry your mother got fired.
No, she got another job right after.
Mamela, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, but
no. This is part of the disease.
Okay.
This is part of the disease. In 1990, black women had full maternity rights. Don't confuse, what was it called? The career progression reservation and the separate economic development with whether or not there were certain rights.
Well, that's what my mother told me.
During the time, before 1983, 82, I think, when all women couldn't buy property, it wasn't just black women. White women had to be married in order to own an asset. It became a crisis of capitalism when a family has only girl children. And they can only leave it to their girl children. I think then the crisis came. What must we do?
Only in the 70s women could have bank accounts, right?
Now they must find a grandfather, an uncle, which aba own the inheritance through them. Abadalele yo tax, akafuna ukubhadala tax toxic talky. Ufuna ukuthi tax ikhishwe ilaba abareshine because they are women. So the genderized. So there's one thing that I give white, the old school feminists who were, let me call them womanists, because I'm not a feminist, I'm a womanist. There's a very big difference.
I'm a womanist too.
And I've always been a womanist. I've never ever hated men. Everywhere I have worked, you are the only people that, from what are you telling me, on social media that I hear call me angry. Mina, everywhere I've worked and being active in,
they call me crazy,
even in school, worry. I've led in school, like, mina ngali dangsesemncane, bengi labantana labo.
Boy prefect.
Utishara magaphume klasani, ati take over. Yeah. Leadership is in my blood, ne?
Yeah.
So, bengilida nasemasimini simlame elincane ugogo mangifundisa ukulima athi nali lakho phatha ke yabona. What I'm trying to tell you is that the struggle against the economic, because it's an economic struggle, it's not really political. All struggles are really economical. The politics is the means to the economic end. I credit white women as much as I credit black women, for centuries. I made examples earlier on. I credit white women for that fight of career progression, for that fight of removing male privilege, particularly. Actually, before 1948, there was no really race, male privilege. It was just male privilege. The male privilege of holding certain jobs, of being able to study certain trades. Firstly, women couldn't go to varsity. Then they could only become nurses. Then they could only become teachers of preschool. Like all the, we had to go and take care of little kids and clean houses. Of course, you could be a maid. Yeah. So I wanted to correct you there, Wuti. Certain rights became universal. So even if bengisebenze Eskom ngiyicleaner,
My mom worked at
or
Eskom.
bengisebenza e-OK Bazaars njengomamam,
Okay.
or bengisebenza eBabcock.
Okay, I don't know that. My mom also worked at DuPont, the
Njengobaba.
chemical company.
Now do you see that?
Right at the time, the
when
scandal, the spill.
when the racist Afrikaners employed a lot of black people,
Yeah.
gave them housing subsidies.
My mother never struggled for a job.
No, nobody did. Can I
Yeah.
tell you, even when I matriculated, you're taking a break. But if you wanted a job, there were people in the community. The ward councillors were not paid. They never got a salary. Their job was to manage social relations and economic relations in each community. Factories around the townships, all businesses were forced by law to come and look for employees here. Masegu saturated, wonke umuntu uyasebenza, or people, no, angifuna ukuba wealth, I'm getting more money, Highveld Steel, I'm getting more money, Eskom, I'm getting more money, Semenco, I'm getting more money, Isco, I'm getting more money. The state had companies, all state companies were vibrant, were employing. Transnet had housing subsidies. I bought a house through Transnet Housing when I first got a job at SAA, and SAA was under Transnet.
I remember
Your
that.
beautiful black government,
I used to get discounts on SAA because
destroyed
my
all
cousin
of-
also used to work
destroyed all
at
of that.
Transnet.
So there were certain rights that were universal under apartheid, even though career progression was a preserve. It wasn't a preserve of whites. Black people did become managers, but they could only manage blacks.
Yes, my dad
And-
became a manager
and
also.
They could only manage blacks in those business units, in those sectors. So here's what I respect about apartheid. Its organization. It was highly organized. It's almost like an actuary, an economist, maybe investment bankers. maybe-
Social scientists.
They had a lot of psychiatrists, by the way. Overyt was a psychiatrist, yeah?
Okay.
Under the apartheid government and the British, you couldn't be a minister if you were not a professional in a scientific trade. They all had to have science. You know why?
No, please
Do
explain.
you know why? Because mathematics and science are the only subjects that teach you lateral thinking and, I suppose, depth. If you have somebody who has never ever been taught mathematics, whether in an African language, the language is not the issue, mathematics, rationalizing, calculating, 1 + 1 is 2, therefore 2 - 1 is 1, right? People can't solve problems. Mathematics and science is designed to make
That's an equation, by the way,
solve
what
a
she just did.
problem, right?
That was called an equation for those who are watching.
It's there to help you solve problems. Part of our problems are many. Your problems are many, guys. But one of the things that need to happen to fix South Africa is that mathematics and science needs to be compulsory. Hi, mina ngikhona izonginika headache. There's no such a thing. Mathematics and science doesn't
So you don't
give you
believe
a
in
headache.
maths lit?
What is that?
I tweeted the other day that it never dates a
Did
girl.
you do mathematics literacy?
No, I didn't. Why would I do that?
Okay. But don't be judgmental.
No, I am.
Be analytical, don't judge.
I cannot date a girl who did maths lit.
So ufana nalabantu abathi, I cannot date a girl who does needlework. But you're wearing clothes because of people who did needlework.
No, well, they know how to thread a needle.
So in maths litinai, all I'm saying is
They know how to thread a needle. Let me just say, it's just like certain things, like when you want to have a logical argument, right?
yeah.
Just their lack of defaulting to
Yeah.
analytical thinking is something that, makes me and them not be able to
I need
agree.
a cold one. Yes, continuing.
sorry.
Mame. I need a cold
Sorry,
one.
no, don't worry. I'll ask them to bring your ice. So now when I'm looking at what we're lacking as black men,
Yeah.
right? And I'm comparing us to what we know or
Thank
what
you.
we see as the men who are at the top of the food chain, the social
Yes.
hierarchy.
Who are
White
those,
men.
the billionaires?
The British. No, I'm just a British white
It's
man,
no
right?
longer the British. You'll be shocked. Do your research.
Oh, okay. The Indians.
You see, you're so racist. You always have to find a race-based format of
I look at Microsoft. CEO is Indian.
Othering other men.
I look at Google.
So that you,
CEO is
so
Indian.
that you
I
can
look at
justify-
UK. Prime Minister is Indian.
so that you can justify your a black man's, from your perspective,
Yeah.
black man's self-imposed inferiority now, post the civil rights movement.
Or
I want
internalized.
to trigger you further. Trump, by the way, Trump won the elections. I'm so happy.
Yes.
And he's doing the things that need
I
to
would have
happen.
voted for him
that
if I was
need
a
to happen
citizen.
everywhere in the world, right?
Yeah.
I want to trigger your
Even if I was illegal, I would have voted for him.
racism even further.
Yeah.
Do you know that this program, PEPFAR,
Yeah.
which is funded by USAID,
You got George Bush, yeah?
from George Bush's time in 2003.
Yeah.
Do you know that I wrote them down because I wanted to give you the actual facts so that unga arguish or Smu doesn't argue. Out of the, I think it's 7 companies, pharmaceutical companies that that are actually paid that money. By the way,
Do you know the names?
The reason it's successful, I'm going to give you. The reason that program has been successful is also because it didn't go out on tender, right? It would go out on tender. But it's almost like it's not a public-private partnership, but it's similar, yeah? It's 7 companies that can supply because they are the manufacturers of ARVs. Ne? Out of the 7, I stand corrected. Okay, let me give you the names. Cipla South Africa, which comes from Cipla Limited, which is owned by Cipla Limited.
I know. I just don't want to say anything because someone I know works there.
You know it's an Indian company. Right? But it's an Indian company, as in not Indian South African race.
Oh, India. The company. Oh, yeah, the country.
Aspen Pharmacare, which is the only purely South African one.
Nicolau?
That's a South African one.
He's the head of that,
But
right?
it's a South African one. PIC even has shares.
But hold on, Stavros Nicolau, isn't he like Greek or something?
Yeah, it was initially owned by them, but I mean now, most companies have, issued shares and stuff. So PIC, Coronation, and all of that. Then there's Millen. Millen is Indian. No, I'm lying. Millen is owned by Pfizer.
Okay.
So it's only
German.
Millen, it's only Millen and Aspen, right? And then there's Orbindo, I don't know how to pronounce it, which is owned by the Indians again. Then there's Hetero Labs, Indian as in the Indian country. Sun Pharma, Bombay, India. Teva.
Like Sunfoil.
Teva Pharmaceuticals, Israeli, Tel Aviv. So out of the 7, 4. No. The Israelis, don't ever underestimate the Israelis. The Israelis in the mid-90s, I'm not sure if it's broadband infraco or if it's Centec.
Broadband infraco,
Telcom. Yeah, the Israelis built your I think it was the undersea cables when Telcom was expanding. I don't know whether it was the undersea cables, I stand corrected, but it was the satellite.
Are you sure it's not fiber optics?
It was South Africa's satellite, because South Africa under apartheid had the space satellites, right?
Yeah, no.
It was built by the Israelis. Don't ever underestimate the Israelis. The Israelis, their whole country is the size of the Western Cape, is it? Or KZN?
And they gave us weapons. They gave us our nuclear program.
I just told you, Mosuguti Nina, I'm Africans, you've got the biggest continent in the world. And was Navala effect la West Rand, bullet. Your government. You took the black government took a functioning thing, up to par. Only Russia could compete with South Africa. Or let me say, yes, in nuclear technology, nuclear medicine, nuclear power, nuclear medicine, nuclear power, nuclear. Okay, I think that was secret, like nuclear armaments, but that was like a secret one. In medicine generally, medical technology, biomedical technology, medical technology, only Russia could compete with South Africa. South Africa was top notch. Your black government, because of their racism, took over perfectly functioning systems, top of the range. Why do you think we produced the Mark Shuttleworth? How do you think South Africa produced the Mark Shuttleworth in the 90s? No, Mark Shuttleworth and Elon Musk were educated here. Elon Musk left South Africa after matric, and already he had technical skills.
Yeah, I know. He went to Bryanston, he went to Pretoria Boys. Your black government destroyed every technical high school there ever was. The last one I knew in Joburg was the one in Auckland Park, remember? What was it called? Next to... John O. That's where Flava went to school.
That's the one I know, right? Perfect, like... Whatever skill you could get out of school instant at 6.
And niche as well.
Even in a black school, you could get out instant at 6 and have skills that you can get a job with.
But now, John, all kids are famous for begging on the streets after school.
Today, Nina, you can't get jobs with a degree. During apartheid, you could get it. You had a certificate. You had an N1 or something with standard 6. I could get a job at the bank. I could get a job in the post office. I could get a job, a technical. I could be a welder. I could be a mechanic. I could be an instrumentation. I could be many, many things. I could build.
Okay.
Today, you can't get a job with degrees. And on top of it, your generation, extremely arrogant. You have this thing that if I have a degree, I'm not supposed to do a certain type of job.
That's true. Now, I want to point it at the woman. Would you marry the man who's a mechanic? Would you marry?
I can
You
only,
would.
I only really like men who can build stuff.
Oh, my dad is in construction.
What are you suggesting?
I'm his son.
What are you suggesting?
Construction company.
You are
Engineering. What did you say? Something. What did you say? No, but you told me something. You said engineering,
Do you remember
something,
what I
and
said to you?
construction field.
He was asking me about would you marry a man as a mechanic?
Yeah.
I was like, I can only marry a man who can build something.
Yeah.
Right? And then you said, my dad is in construction.
Yes.
And then I said, what are you suggesting?
I'm earning a
Okay,
company.
you don't. It's math you did mathematics literacy, ne?
No.
Xolisa kumawakho, NOTA.
I'm not gonna. I need to apologize to a whole other woman that didn't give birth to me. Which she's gonna be complaining after watching this.
Okay,
But-
so I like your dad if he's in construction.
Yeah.
I like your dad if he's an
I
engineer.
built my dad's best friend, right?
Yeah.
Mtutuzi Shoba, the late, ne?
Yeah.
His kitchen wall was built by me on my dad's
Wow.
company.
But
because
but I wouldn't consider
my dad
you.
has never laid one brick in his life. Never laid a brick.
But your
Never.
dad is in
I
construction.
dug trenches. Yes.
Do
my
I have
dad-
tissue in my face?
No, none. I dug trenches on my
what
dad's
are you
construction.
trying to say? I wouldn't.
My dad has never mixed cement. He's like, I know how to mix cement.
You're too
I know
young
how
for
to
me.
use trofono.
You're
You know what trofono
you're too
is?
young for me. I appreciate. I'm impressed. No, I'm impressed. Nota. I'm really impressed.
I know how to
I
go
think it's great. No, I know you are a real man, Shaila.
Thank you.
Shaila,
No, thank you.
No, you
I
would.
can build.
If you were 55 years old, you would be my kind of man. But you're too young. I've dated younger guys at some point in my
No,
life.
don't do that.
But that was at an appropriate
No,
age.
don't
No,
do that.
now I wouldn't know.
No, because you're ruining them.
No, okay, asingayilapha.
Yeah, you're ruining them.
Okay,
So
let's
let's get back.
No, sorry, I
Yeah.
take that back. I've never dated a man younger than me.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Please.
I've never.
Ish, because
I've never ever
now
dated
the
a
thing
man
is this,
younger
is
than
that
me. Not even in
where
my
we are,
30s.
already where we are
Yeah,
as black men,
yeah.
we don't need anything more to bring us any added indignity. You understand?
You don't need to bring yourself.
True.
Say it in an empowering way.
Yeah.
We don't need to bring
any more
ourselves
into
any further.
indignity.
Indignity, yes.
You know what I mean? So now you look at Afriforum.
Cheers.
I don't know if you think Afriforum are racist
I
or not.
love Afriforum.
You don't think they're racist?
Listen, indoda ezokwazi ukuthi siyaphuma e-UJ, siyaphuma e-UP, siyaphuma e-VUT, siyaphuma e-University of Northwest. We're going to build our own and then they do it. Shem. Angnandaba, what color you are.
So now,
They've built their own university academic. They've built their own technical college.
and we don't mind that.
And their technical college, TVET.
Mm.
I would advise anyone who's able to get in there. Obviously, you have to know Afrikaans and they have
Yeah.
a right to do that. It's their institution. Now you must know Tsonga. When you go there, true like it was in the olden days, you would get a
The University of Gaza,
you would get a
Nkulu.
placement.
Mm.
You would get an actual placement. Companies come and actually recruit the students from there.
Same thing with TNG.
Which is what must happen, right?
Didn't you work at Transnet?
Your TVET colleges, the Transnet college.
You guys used to take people from
all-
TNG, everyone
all
in-service
the state-
training.
No, all the state companies had their own in-service training, which was actually certificated. When you left that job, that certificate you could use. It wasn't
Even my
just for
sister
fun.
went to ESCOM college there by...
So this thing
Glen
of
Austin.
trashing Afriforum and trashing anything that is white, it really needs to come to an end because it makes us look very stupid.
But
Do you understand?
aren't you saying that because you've got white ancestors?
Wow. No, I'm not. I'm saying that because I have a mathematical brain. I believe in anything that works. Ngihamba nayo. I'm not going, you're not going to be my best friend because you are black. You're not going to be my best friend because your surname is Mashego or Shilwane or Malapane, you are in my clan. You're not going to be my best friend because we belong to the same tribe. You're not going to, I don't have time for backwardness. You my best friend because we share values, because me and you have a value system that we can coexist with, because we build each other as friends, because we contribute to one another's development, because we make each other, I'm happy, you're happy, but when we come together, we are happier, because we respect one another's boundaries, etc., etc. It's about time that we start to understand that it's not only human beings who come in different genealogy. The human race is made up of different species. Show me anything in nature that God made that doesn't have a species.
I've gotten in trouble.
So human beings, you see your racism, NOTA. You see your racism, NOTA.
I hear you.
You see your no, I know what you're in trouble for. No, but I listened to that clip, and even I was a bit, okay. It's the way you said it.
Oh, okay.
The point is, everything in nature has a species, right?
Yeah.
Trees, even plants. Let's say roses. Let's just take roses. How many different types of roses do you know? Roses. Let's take dogs.
Icebergs.
Let's take cats.
The white ones.
Let's take bears. Let's take lions, cats.
I like teddy bears.
There's lions, there's cheetahs,
you
there's
can
leopards.
keep them in your bedroom.
Right?
And they won't eat you.
There's pandas. There's pandas in the bear world, right?
But,
Take the monkey world. I don't know what you call monkeys collectively.
Primates and
There's
apes
there's that. Take rats. Even rabbits are rats, right?
Even hamsters.
So why is it that when human beings come in different species, if I can put it that way, I know it's a bad word. I mean, people who did biology and stuff will know.
I'm not a speciesist.
What's the right word for species?
So I don't believe that one is better than the other. I believe all should exist.
I'm not doing the better
Okay,
then.
cool.
I'm not doing the better, because if we have to go better, then I told you already.
Okay,
I told you. Like, I will tell you who's better. If you want to do better, I'll tell you who's better.
I'm black.
I'll tell you who's better. I'll tell you who's better, and then you'll tell me it's because I have white lineage. I have white lineage on both sides. My grandfather maternally and my great-grandfather paternally are white, 100% white people, not a Makala, who had children with Africans. And then my grandmother came and my mother came. So I will never, ever berate white people. And that is why I'm not scared of white people. I have fought with white. I can fight with anybody. I don't fight with you because you're white. Once you do something wrong and you go over, you cross over a certain line, you disrespect me. I don't look at disrespect. You know why we undermine each other as black people? Precisely because we're so obsessed with race. We do things to each other we would never dare do to white people.
Tell us, like farm murders?
There are things that, look at rape in South Africa. I want to make an example with that. Somebody once said to me, of course the black rape stats are going to be higher because we're the biggest population. That's dumb. Of course. But, and then if you look at colonial patterns of ownership, of course, at a certain point, now it's not true anymore. Black people own more mortgaged houses than whites because of the economic transformations, right? Of more black people moving into the middle class after 94 and earning more money, and now removing the barriers of career progression, etc. And of course, the looting that's happening in government, But the point I'm trying to make is that we need to understand that if the labeling white people all the time as racist is robbing us of an opportunity to deal with our own development issues. When you are a very smart, I once had a conversation with Sbu's daughter, little genius, and we were talking. I can't remember. She asked me, he asked me,
she's so well behaved as well.
I would give. Oh, she's amazing, and she's a genius kid. What advice I can give her for her age in school, whatever. And I said to her, if there's one thing I can advise you as a smart kid who gets straight A's, 100% in maths and science, jealousy is human nature. It's not only black people who are jealous. And when people become when people become jealous,
we're wearing green with envy.
Green is the color of prosperity. It's a color of nature.
Oh, thank you.
It's a color of nature. The earth is green, the Mother Earth. I'm a Virgo, so I'm an earth sign. I'm a mother.
We didn't coordinate today.
I'm the ultimate.
We just
We are
knew.
forced.
Afriforum.
We are
forced. John Foster.
ungena embobweni ingekho like lena lidayina mbobo but
I'm
uyayifuna.
threading the needle.
Right? So and I said to her, the one advice I can give you, because if you're a smart kid and you're a girl, you get bullied. Well,
Yeah.
not always, but I mean, they know you're smart, so the teachers like you, so you have that
She's
protection.
bullied and she's spoiled. The other day, her father took her to a
But-
spa.
But
I remember.
if he has to, she earns it. Smart kids deserve. Please, don't have no
Wenza
more.
nespa-
Just because I'm young is fine.
No, we go to Sinestress.
How much did you? She gets 100%. So she works hard.
I
She
grew up with a
deserves.
black mother. When I used to come
That's-
home and tell my mother,
that's
Mama,
her
I've got
privilege.
stress, she's like, you are too young to have
Of
stress.
course,
Mntanam."
you don't. A young body kind of stress. But I said to her, Maufuna, if you want to, because smart genius kids, I was not a genius. I was very intelligent. There's a difference. She's a genius.
Oh, nice.
If you're a genius, you're in the minority anyway in society. A class in money 20, you are one.
Yeah.
You are always a minority everywhere, at university, everywhere, throughout your life. So jealousy is going to be a normal part of life.
True.
Share a little bit. Don't overshare. Don't be an overgiver.
Okay, hold on.
But-
Please translate that.
But train the kids who are struggling with
If
maths.
you want to arrest the envy.
Jealousy.
Oh,
right?
the jealousy. If you want
Yeah.
to arrest the jealousy.
Umona, and you know what I mean by that. Because
Oh.
after umona, so we had
If you want to stop the Merlins. The Merlins.
Okay,
Because they always call it black
abanye-
magic.
Abanye, they are never satisfied, right?
Yeah.
But funda ukshare nabo. If you know that they are struggling with a certain formula in class, start extra lessons because you're a genius kid. You grasp concepts quicker. Yes, you study hard, you work hard. Genius kids actually do work hard. But you've got more time in your hands. Offer to explain it to them, because when a teacher explains a concept to a child, it's not the same as peer-to-peer. When intanga yakho might explain a difficult equation, you get it quicker. Because
that's
you
true.
explain it level yen yobuntwana. My examples, umuntu omdala, yeah, they are good teachers, of course, they're brilliant teachers. But share with them, teach them a little bit so that they appreciate it, and show them when you're studying. Guys, I'm studying now. No, you're not just a genius because of Wixeni. Why are you genius? You know what I mean? You also work hard. Share, teach them. Share what you can. Not so much that now you stop getting your 100%. Set boundaries. I'm studying now. I'm going to make time for you guys in my spare time. And then they must also know what they can't demand. Sifundise manje. No. In my spare time, I'm teaching you, so you make time around my time, right? I was just, ukweba, umona.
Yeah.
Something that BEE people in South Africa haven't learned.
Yeah, you see, there's a lot of things that BEE people in South Africa. No, I'm just saying, it's like back to our original conversation and the paternalism.
Yeah.
They see themselves as entitled to young women's bodies.
Oh, please, as in,
And it's
trauma.
for me. The thing is this: is
They
that
are molesters, most of those people.
so now when it comes into the politics, I had this conversation with the ANC
In the economics,
Secretary General.
actually. In the economics. I mean, they go to townships and areas where there's economic depression.
They know that there's vulnerable girls there.
But you also know what it is, besides the fact that they are predators. Low self-esteem, ego, high self-esteem, low. Yeah, they are the classical inverted. They can't, abafuna ukudate abafazi aba ku-level yabo. Ku-age yabo.
Abafana nami. Mina, I date in my age range. I
In your
don't
intellectual range?
Ish, that's difficult.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
You have to balance
date above your
ubuhle.
intellectual range.
You have to always, actually. Always.
Okay, no, that's
Always,
fine. No, then
always,
that's perfect.
always. But you have to balance ubuhle nokuhlakanipha. You know what I mean?
No,
Nokuba
what do you
intanga
mean?
yakho.
Why? Umfazi wakho bekuyinyanga.
No, she was a year younger than me though.
Ngisho ukuthi bekuyinyanga.
I guess she's a singer healer.
Oh, nice. Yeah. We're
She
all
heals
healers.
people
We're all
through
healers.
singing, I
But
guess.
sengisho ukuthi
So,
yeah,
she used to
nice.
heal me. I used to listen to her music to heal me.
Oh,
But-
nice.
but the way I want to put it is that in that conversation,
Manje, if she healed you, why divorced?
she divorced me. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, Anglapheki.
That's a pig. But you said you're actually a nice guy. Before we did this, I didn't want to do it.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't want to do it.
Please.
And he said it.
Okay, can I warn
He
you?
said it on that
Do
episode.
not compliment my freckles.
Oh yeah.
Remember what you said, Nota?
Yeah.
So every time they meet you, they actually find out you're a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm the sweetest guy. I always am. Always the sweetest guy.
And it's
So-
not the first time I meet you.
And I was sweet the last time I met you, but you were having tea. So I
Yeah,
didn't want
but
to
I
disturb
never
you.
judge you. I don't judge. I try not to judge.
No, thank you.
I just thought you were
appreciate that.
hectic, and those comments.
Sometimes you need to give people a show. It's entertainment. I'm in the entertainment business. Sorry, I didn't make
Oh,
it
by
to
the way, are
corporate.
you in entertainment?
Yes,
Are
I've
you
always
like?
been.
Were you also a DJ in Jengosbu?
I've DJ'd, but not for my own
Apparently,
fame.
you made a lot of money at a young age at some point. What were you doing? Bonga in Zamatenda.
No, made
Um,
music. I followed in Swoo's footsteps.
Oh, what
Yeah.
music?
All
like,
music. Everything.
Mention one that
Gospel.
I know.
What
I would
song
know.
that you know? Do you know a song?
There's many of them.
No. Yeah.
Big songs.
Lots of them.
Lots of them.
Lots of them.
Did I dance to them?
Yes.
Even your mom,
Yeah.
even your daughter.
Like
Yeah.
which one?
Yeah. My songs are multi-generational.
I didn't know. I didn't know this.
Yeah, so my songs are multi-generational. So
You look like Philippe, by the way. I wanted
do.
to say it
I
on
do.
camera.
I know
He
him
looks
very well.
like Philippe.
Design.
Yeah, he looks like Philippe.
I
He
know him
look-
very well.
He's not
Yeah, I
related
know him
to
very
you.
obviously. Siafana.
You look-
There was no way we were gonna.
Philippe would be
not
my
meet.
age. Philippe
Yeah.
angaba age yam, or slightly
Yeah.
older.
It's 50.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
no,
he's
he's-
older than 50. He's 50 something.
Okay.
But yeah, no, he was
So
celebrating his
he-
50th not too long ago. I remember he had a birthday
He
party.
age yam,
Yeah.
yeah. Waka 73.
Oh, yeah, it's 50.
Okay.
Okay, so when we look at what Secretary General Mbalula was saying to me, he completely denied that there's a blesser culture in the ANC.
Oh
And
my goodness.
it's great that your hair is black, your glasses are gold, and your dress is green.
Oh.
so you can justify for the ANC.
Black
Why
women
is
go-
it
And
that
my citrine.
why is it that the ANC sees no correlation or causation between the teenage pregnancy rate and the fact that the comrades go into vulnerable societies to prey on young girls?
Firstly, there's I did my BTech studies in communication science on health communication.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I did my study.
Where was this?
A mini thesis at Durban University of Technology.
Okay.
Then
Where is that?
Then I got awarded a scholarship at University of KZN.
Yeah, but where is it in Durban?
In Durban, we are
Berea.
taxi rank. It's between Berea and what is this area? Lagune.
Musgrave. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Estratin
Yeah. I know that place very well.
Estratin se
Vovo used to take me there.
I'm an alumnus.
When I was still a kid.
I'm an alumnus of DT, and I was one of only 4 cum laude.
Did you know all Vovo?
In my, I didn't know him personally, but my almost husband.
Oh, met him.
Uyawazi amaZulu athanda ukushada. Ngicishe ngashada eKZN angazi kayingaki. Cishe. Shame, no, but he's late.
So you were there during those days
was,
when those guys were big.
No, Mamela, let me tell you, I had such a bad crush on a professor, ne?
Oh yeah, but he was the gold.
No, Mamela,
at his
I
time.
had bad, like my crush was bad,
Yeah.
okay? And
But
my,
not bigger than the one to Tukul, right?
I dated, Tukul and I dated.
What?
I know that story.
It wasn't a crush.
Put it here. Put it here.
No,
Put it here.
Tukul was my person. And
No, he was my
and
OG as well.
Wang sanganele Tukul. Mina,
He used to have
bengu-
spells
mina
of
bengu
that.
magruvane, but I was very conservative. I was full of shit.
Yeah.
But because I had like a split personality, I was known as this girl who Grover, but I was still me. I was still the full of shit
You
Mandisa
like
that I
my
am.
sister.
And so I could fit in any environment. So Utukulo during our relationship
Like my sister.
was at his height. Asanganiswa fame, but because Tukulo was so sweet, like his person, like Tukulo is just such an amazing
Everyone
human
from
being.
4 Ways is sweet.
Oh, Tukulo is just an amazing human being.
We are sweet.
I didn't pick up ukuthi uyaganga. You understand? I didn't even know about the problems.
Yeah.
I was naive as well. Because
Yeah.
mina bengaphuza utshwala.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
so you wouldn't notice. Yeah.
Nesigarette bengingakayibhemi kahle.
Yeah.
Bengiyitshontsha because I wanted to look cool.
You were asleep by 3 a.m.
No! Ayibo, bengingaphuzi mina bengijiva the whole night.
How
I
do you
was
stay awake? Mina
all the
angiphuzi,
time.
but when it gets to like 11 ebusuku, mina
I would be in studio
sengilele.
noSibu ayenza i-grave night. Graveyard. Grave night.
Yeah.
I'm still like that. I'm nocturnal.
Usibuda ngangifonela
Kitawu, I'm nocturnal.
ngo-9 uzongithola ngilele. Wangifonela ngo-4 ekuseni uzongithola ngivukile.
Exactly. No, I was very nocturnal, so Umgrover was my thing. And I was hyperactive. But anyway, here's the point. So I didn't know ukuthi lo muntu lo uyaganga, wenzani. You know, when the shock hit me, I can't remember what was the show they were performing. And
But they were in Durban almost every month.
being the girlfriends, you're mistaken as a groupie. So, you know, Tukulo disappears. Just after the show, disappears.
It took flight.
Right? I don't know what happened to my friends, but because I'm this side backstage in the whatever the rooms, right, where they change and whatever. I hadn't been with my friends. So I'm looking for him because it's after the show, like a Pelili show. Obviously, we were going to like a club or a party, whatever, after party. I'm told in manager, I think it was Lance at the time.
No, I don't think that was Lance. Wasn't it his sister?
It was the name, but there was a white guy from the
Lance McCormack.
McCormack.
From
the guy who owns Nando's Studios.
From the I don't know what he does now. I don't know what he does now, but from the recording company, right?
Yeah, he was producing.
So I'm looking for him. I don't know where Neo was. I don't know if Neo and I were best friends, right? So I'm looking for him and I'm told. And this guy is trying to keep me away from the change room. A move. He's trying to get me to lump me with other girlfriends. The other girlfriends of the other people.
The wags.
So that I can go. Yeah, what? Something tells me, no, like I'm gonna find this room la akuyo mangena ngahlangana nenye into umuntu ohambile emhlabeni akakhulunywa kabi ngaye, but that's when it hit me. And because Janelle and I were
you
friends,
went up for the rockstar life. Let's put it like that.
No, not really. I was used to that life.
But not that rockstar.
No. Me, I was not.
Seriously.
I was not.
Hot.
Yeah, like I could.
I was this banana.
People were like,
hot girls.
People were like, to go there. Like I could. I opened the door and I saw what I saw.
You're taking it to the grave.
Then I went in. I went Kipusman La Puma. And the rest is history. But anyway.
Wahlanya or the colored came out of you? Is that racist?
I need to
Let me tell you something, man. My friend, Sipo Tabete. I'm going to say his full name and surname. He's an executive right now. A PSG. He handles big money.
I can't be sued.
No.
You.
No.
Disclaimer.
Nothing happened to him. Okay. I wouldn't put his name and the fact that he works at PSG and he's handling big funds with billions.
But does he want you to say those things about him?
This is what happened. So he's got a half brother, his dad's other son. Né? So he stayed in Soweto. His dad stayed in Bergbron, which is by Northcliffe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I know where Bergbron is.
Yeah. So I took him in as a friend because he stayed in Soweto.
You took who in, the billionaire?
No, well...
His brother?
No, him.
Or before he handled billions?
Yeah, before he handled billions. Okay. Now he handles billions. He doesn't have time
like
for me.
Like me now?
Yeah.
Like you could take me in now.
Yeah.
So, and then when I have billions, then you say, I took Sis MANDISA in.
So my grade 11 marks came back and I just barely made it for university qualification. I could apply with my grade 11 marks. Right? I just barely made it. So matric is coming up. I know I don't have time to study. I'm always with El Vovo and Big Nas in Durban or wherever.
I was still talking about my crush.
I will tell you about that. So I will remind you about that. So now what happens is that we had a party at Catwalk.
Yeah. Catwalk. Oh my God, what happened to Catwalk?
Yes, it died. It's now Bounce. You can take kids, people's kids there.
No.
It's now Bounce for kids.
Oh, Bounce for kids.
Yeah, it's now Bounce for kids. So you can take kids there. Like real kids. Not Abantuan. So now what happened there is that we go to Catwalk and his brother found a colored girl.
Yeah.
So there was like a metro bus that we'd rented because we were hosting the party. And
you rented those open metro buses,
the double decker, the normal
normal
double decker at night. We went to the metro bus
you
depot.
Could hire them. They were called party buses.
Yeah. So then we hire the bus, And then afterwards, what happens with Sipo's half brother
Girlfriend. Oh.
is that he gets found out. I think he was making out with this girl, and now some other colored bros are chasing him, and they chase him, and he runs into the bus.
What do you mean?
There's a bus
He
parked outside the
moved.
club.
Oh, he parked.
Yeah, it's outside. It's outside.
Oh, he
ran
gets
outside. He left
inside,
the club.
gets
He
inside.
gets inside the bus. He tells the bus driver to close the door.
Drive.
The
and
bus
drive.
driver looked and saw colored boys and said, "I'm young one."
And opened the door. And opened the door and said, Nanga. Mkhipheni, so that they don't have to look for. So they don't have to look for him.
You understand what I'm saying? And
So they don't have to shoot through the
you
bus.
You know what I mean? He's like, why are you making your problems my problems? Why else you gonna make colours?
Ngamsanganela-ke. Ngakhipha ikhaladi. Ngamkhiphela ikhaladi that day.
So even me, I was like, you know what? I know I've got the freckles, I'm light skinned, I could pass as a colored.
Yeah, but
Ayanyasaba.
Usabani. Oh my God. Did you listen to Penuel's conversation with what's that colored guy? Imagine.
Yes,
Waras.
Yeah.
Did you listen to Waras when he was talking about his ammunition?
Yeah, I've got this gun, I've got this gun.
And I'm thinking, it's okay because we carry those things. There's not black men carry guns.
How he names all the guns.
But because we colored, right? And the stereotype, no?
Yeah.
And he's just like, usho angazama R5, ama R1, like they sound like army machinery, right?
Like he's got
and he's like,
bosses
I
or
can
something.
go through 3 days if there ever had to be a thing where, poor people, like they were talking about the VAT thing and like poverty, like you're not paying grants and black people go crazy on the rich people. And he could like at least hold down his
himself
fort
for 3 days.
Based on the guns and ammunition that he has in his apartment. Penuel is like, Penuel is well behaved, ne? Penuel is like, what? Like Penuel,
he was shocked.
Say I'm Saba.
No, he's got some Indian blood in him. He doesn't have any colored blood.
But Penuel.
Penuel.
No,
but since we're talking about guns, so he's got Indian.
Indian, I know, but like he doesn't look like he has Indian blood. He looks like he has white blood.
No, Indian.
But maybe straight hair, you never know.
I know his mom. I love his mom. She loves me too.
But let's not go there to Penuel. Let's go to your gun-toting KZN boyfriend that you had a crush on.
He was not. Well, I think he was gun-toting at some point, but not when I was with him. No, I had a terrible crush on a professor. Ne? So
did he ever carry guns? Not that I know of. No. Our professors. But I don't know about character.
So one day, a crush is a crush, right? A crush is a crush. I'm allowed a crush. And sisephathini kule party kunabo elvovo nabo professor nani yabona. So it so happens that I'm hot. Ngihlala eKZN, my skin is like glowing. Durban makes your skin glow because of the humidity and the salt. So ngimuhle nje that day yabona.
Yo, and I hate that humidity.
I make extra effort also. So this professor guy is like looking at me. I'm looking at him too, but not like in a pervy way.
He's so emote and
I'm just like, oh my God. I'm thinking, oh my God, here's this guy, he's here, and I have a crush on him.
You're like, oh.
But not like, I'm not staring. He's staring. When somebody's staring at you and you end up looking at them because you can sense. Okay, us girls can sense when a guy is staring. So there was
intuition.
That second of me also looking at him. Lo ula, yabon. He's like, but kwenzakalani la? What's going on?
Zulu intuition.
I'm like, what's going on? He's like, omega ngan. Lento yakho yokuthi une crush ku professor. Like uyayaza ngithi bakudlala ingoma zaka professor ngijive more than anybody. Noma ngakwazi ukujive. But now he's like, no. Lezi zinto zeni zesilungu. He couldn't really speak English well because it's pure Zulu, right?
Yeah.
It's like lento yenu yama crush aniyazi yini lonke lento kodwa ngiyayibona ukuthi akuyona i-crush lento nibhekene manje uyayazi lento uyayazi la iyakwazi. I'm like, I don't know him. He doesn't know me. It's like a celebrity crush. Ngithanda music wakhe. I had to like beg. Okay, he wasn't going to get violent, but
okay, what did you like about his music?
It was real. It was like la 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 la. Siyahamba.
What did you like about his music?
Oh, I mean, come on. I used to like that song. What was it? Not Jezebel. The other one. I always forget the songs that I like.
Mina ngiyintombi ethanda bo DJ. Ngisho, it's not that one.
Not that one. There's the other one. Ijima play weight.
Oh, yeah,
That
that's
was like
another
my
one. But
favorite.
that's a Durban Kwaito song. Wasn't that
Like-
Professor Ntizozo? Wasn't
Yeah,
that
I think
them
it was
together?
a mix, yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, they were a group back then.
Young Peleli party because of the crash. I mean, even if I didn't look at Professor, his obsession was uyamazi lo muntu ukuthi ukubheke sukela singena la.
Hold on. You don't need this.
No, but I'm saying, but you know, you're in entertainment. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, sometimes you've gotten into so many.
I'm not in entertainment, so you guys need to
No, I'm
stop
saying-
me at some point.
I'm saying, like those in entertainment, no.
If that
You get
increase-
into trouble, just
Exactly.
because some sister is looking at you and her man has got a problem.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you didn't do nothing,
And
bro.
sometimes I got beganga. You know, at a party, there's like people all over, so you're looking in that general direction. But umuntu wakho has low self-esteem. And then and maybe beg like for literally 2-3 seconds. But yeah, now une low self-esteem, ubone out but that's really hot and whatever, like manly. And then uzjelu uthi ubheke this guy.
But you know what it is.
Now
Like,
you must make him feel better.
how much
Hayi,
stuff in
ngithanda
the TV?
wena wedwa.
Amachita vele TV kunalale nyokuthi ungazwakali sibuda ungazwakali mara vela nje bese uyavaya.
Celebrities.
Are you done crushing celebrities or famous people?
Oh, no. Elon Musk.
So you want to be baby
I'm
mama
not
number
done.
5?
I can't have kids anymore.
Who said?
I can't. What do you mean? Who said?
No, I'm just saying, has a doctor told you that you cannot have kids anymore? Have you tested yourself? Have
Why
you checked?
confront her?
No, because
Why-
there's 60-year-old
why you
women
so
giving birth. I'm just
You
saying.
need to have a period.
It's just
You
but
need to
this
have,
is-
the period is the first step. Then you need to have follicles. Then the
I
follicles.
don't know what you're
then the
talking about.
follicles must have eggs inside, and the eggs must be fertile.
Can I tell you something? Now?
And you need to not be in menopause.
Can I tell you something? Okay, in menopause, I know that one. What it
I
means.
thought if I was still fertile.
Can I tell you
I'm not
what
fertile.
happened? One day I was in the car. My mom used to fetch me from school.
Wazi inyanga engangisiza.
No. I
Ngifuna
don't know.
ukuzalela u-Elon Musk. That's like the only man
But,
engifuna
okay, if
ukumzalela.
I find one, I'll send them straight to you.
What do you- inyanga no to Elon Musk.
My mother says to her friend or my aunt or something, yeah, inceda libido. I'm like, what is libido? I googled libido. I never listened to another conversation my mother had.
You're like, how dare she?
In front of me in corner.
Ucabanga ukuthi ufike njani emhlabeni?
I was shocked.
Your mara. Your own mara.
Imagine.
You didn't even know your mother knew libido.
No, I didn't know libido.
Yeah, but now that you know, you're like, why would my mother know that word?
And why would she be
Why would
discussing
she,
it
why
on
would
the
she
phone
even tell
with
somebody to have
libido?
libido? No, but we're talking about fertility. How do you go to libido?
And no, I'm just saying that, you see, the things you're
I
talking about,
suppose for a man.
I never learned them because after that libido, I didn't want to hear anything. Anything after that.
So Elon Musk is my ultimate crush. Uba nomunye engakutshela. I used to like Patrice. But I used to have a crush on
Elon Musk
Patrice
is
specifically.
disappointed us.
You're Patrice's type.
I gave up on it.
You're-
Am
you-
I his type?
Yeah, you look like his sisters. He dates women that
Oh,
look
am
like
I
his
his
sisters.
type? I met him once. He didn't say anything. I mean, like, he just greeted me very respectfully. It was like
He
an
was
event.
married.
He's always been married.
Yeah,
And I
but
love
I'm
his
saying-
wife. I love it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, listen, this is one
You
thing
look
women
like
must...
her.
Men-
She's got the same type as you. You're
I
light-skinned
don't
woman.
look like Precious.
Not like sisters. In
Oh,
terms
you
of
mean
the type.
uthanda abantu abafana
You got the
namakhaladi?
narrow nose. You know what I mean? All those types of things.
I don't have Botox though.
I don't know what that is.
But I don't have Botox. I can't afford it. I can't afford it.
Is it like libido?
Nota
Okay, no,
Mondays,
that's-
Nota Mondays, this is MANDISA Mashego no Nota.
We didn't discuss the VAT increase.
I know.
No, we have to get into it.
Oh,
No,
maybe
we
about
don't. Next time. But I want to say,
Yeah.
Maybe wrap it up with that topic. But guys, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching. The last 5 minutes, VAT increase. Let's wrap it up.
no, nothing much for me. Gifuna, I'm looking for anyone who has money.
Mhm.
I want to take this matter to court. We will win it. Whether it's 0.5, and it's not 0.5%. Again, math lit.
Even if it's Afriforum?
Math lit, what do you mean even if it's Afriforum? You're the racist, not me.
No, I mean, you know what?
I work with Alta.
I love
I worked
white
with
people.
OUTA. I worked with the DA when I was in the legislature and the Freedom Front Plus on matters
I voted for the DA twice.
On matters of corruption, on matters of...
Yes, I have voted for the DA.
No, and we should vote for the DA and the Freedom Front Plus.
No, they keep taking our votes and forwards. No, they want us to have
It's not
water
the
tankers.
DA. The DA is not in charge of Johannesburg. You're so ignorant.
Of my area.
What do you mean they're in charge of your area?
I know.
A ward councillor
I
is
know
not...
my ward
A
councillor.
ward councillor
Yes.
is not running the municipality.
Okay, no,
He's
that-
just
that- I
responsible for
understand
your
that.
ward.
I
And
understand
the
that.
dynamics, the MEC, the executive,
Yes.
right? The ANC, all these other crazy parties
Yes.
that are there,
Yes.
all those crazy parties
Uh-huh.
are the ones that are executive, that are governing. Wait, I'm saying to you,
Yeah.
I'm making a request. Is that a
Yes,
camera?
you wanna sue?
Anyone who can supply us with legal resources, financial resources, to urgently go to the Constitutional Court to stop the 0.5, 0.5%. Is that what they're saying now?
Yeah,
Half a
for this
percentage.
year.
It's a
And
half.
then 0.5%
It's
next
half
year.
a percentage point. It's not 0.5%. So 2% works out to 17%, right? So if you say
13.
if you
Yeah.
say 2% of 14, what is the
2% of
percentage?
15.
No, 2 of 14. What is the percentage of 2 of 14? So I'm saying, what's the percentage of 20 out of 100? It's
21, I
20%.
think. Yeah.
It's 17%. So 0.5 will be around 5%. There is no VAT increase that is justifiable in South Africa right now. Zuma did this to us just before he left, and the ANC allowed him.
Well, Kikaba.
And no, Zuma.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Zuma.
Kikaba was the Minister
It was
of Finance.
Zuma.
Yeah, okay.
All such decisions must be assented to by the president before the minister cabinet has to approve it. So that if the president doesn't agree, the president has veto powers on certain
So
things.
the president
That-
agreed to the
that-
first
yeah,
2%.
They
that was
play you.
supposed to-
They play you when they say they didn't.
So all of this is stage managed.
But consulting each other as political parties is both illegal and it's both anti-democratic principles and anti the constitution, anti the principles of a republic.
Okay, please explain what you mean.
We, the citizens, are the owners of government, not political parties.
Mm-hmm.
We should not be represented by a political party. We should be represented by people elected directly by us, as the New Nation Movement
But
case.
we've got proportional representation, though.
Unfortunately, but we did win the case in 2020 in the courts with New Nation Movement, and we will go back to the courts as soon as we have enough resources to continue, because this is an ongoing fight. But the point is, just because we still have that messy proportional representation does not mean our rights are eroded or taken away from us. This country belongs to us, the tax-paying, law-abiding citizens. It does not belong to the politicians, the 400 MPs in parliament who are looting us dry and enslaving the small number of taxpayers. I'm not paying tax this year because I didn't make any money. Basically, I'm declaring not bankruptcy, but I'm declaring losses this year. But I'm still a taxpayer. I've been paying taxes.
Don't you declare losses every year? Isn't that how business is supposed to be?
No, I've been declaring losses for the last 2 years, but before I was honest, you know what I mean? But I'm declaring
Aye, after
minuses.
COVID.
I'm declaring minuses. But what I'm
We need
saying
10
is
years of
I'm
losses
still
before
a taxpayer. I've been
tax
paying
foot.
tax since 1997, right? I've been a registered
I was in grade
taxpayer on
one.
pay as you earn. Ungangitsheli wena,
The
uhlezi
number
ngikutshela
plates were
ukuthi
yellow.
uyingane. Kunini ngimtshela? So what I'm saying is anyone who has money, resources,
How much?
competent legal resources. No, the lawyers will tell
but
us.
how
I don't
much
know.
money
At least
is the
to
target?
pay lawyers that can urgently, because this is a constitutional matter. It's not a high
So
court
for the
matter.
urgent appeal,
Constitutional court appeal.
it will be
I'm
20,000
urging all lawyers.
just to file?
All lawyers. I'm going to look for the money myself and anybody else who wants to help us. OUTA, please. Wayne, you're my friend.
Divanacha.
Wayne, please. Afriforum, please. I'm pleading. I'm begging. Anyone else, whether you're a private company, you're an NGO, doesn't matter who you are. Anybody, even Trump and Elon Musk, help us, please. I need to go to the Constitutional Court to stop this 5% VAT increase. Our country has gone down the drain. We don't have money. We don't have jobs. Even chartered accountants are struggling in South Africa now financially. Our houses are being taken by the banks right now as I speak because we can't afford even our mortgages. We can no longer afford to feed, I don't want to call them ugly names, but they deserve those ugly names. We can't afford to feed a bloated government civil servants of 1.3 million workers who, majority of them, are stealing our money along with the politicians. We have no guardrails. The Constitutional Court is our last resort. We need to stop the Minister of Finance. We need to stop the president. We need to stop cabinet. We need to stop the National Assembly. We need to stop all members of parliament who are colluding against the people of this country. We cannot be run by an oligarchy, that takes decisions unilaterally without consulting us, the citizens. We were never consulted, especially on a critical issue such as VAT. Already, the small number of taxpayers in this country are suffering to ensure that there's social relief grants. It's not our problem that Trump has removed US aid. In fact, I support Trump to remove US aid because
And PEPFAR.
And PEPFAR is part of under USAID. USAID has got various programs that it funds. PEPFAR is part of USAID. We can no longer become irresponsible citizens who stand by, especially the wealthy citizens who are capable of assisting us now. This is a constitutional matter. It's not a high court matter. We go straight to the constitutional court. We pass everything. A constitutional matter goes straight to the constitutional court. Please, we cannot afford any VAT increase. In fact, we need to go to the constitutional court to reverse the first increase of 7.7% that Zuma put in place before he left in 2018, that took us from 14% to 15%. It was already unjust. The biggest injustice is the fact that we have no control over how much money, our money is stolen from every municipality, every provincial government, every state agency of a municipality, of a provincial government, every state-owned company, every government-owned company, every regulatory body. In South Africa, I counted on my own 116 different taxes that we pay. We are the most overly taxed country. We're probably the most overly taxed developing nation in the world. The kinds of taxes that we pay are unjust, are inhumane. They are beyond what apartheid did to us. The apartheid government developed this country, albeit with separate economic development, albeit under racial policies. But we had less unemployment than we have now. We had less crime than we have now. We had less people being raped than we have now. We had competent prisons. We had competent schools. We had competent hospitals. We had competent courts. We had even the death penalty to protect us from the animals that are roaming the streets now. Animals who don't even have permission to be in South Africa, illegal immigrants who can kill anyone and get away with it because they have no fingerprints, they can't be traced. And we have people who defend them through illegal and unconstitutional acts like the Bella Bill that says a child who is here illegally can stay illegally. Their parents can stay with them. How do you stay in a country illegally when your parent is a criminal? That nonsense needs to be taken to the Constitutional Court. We are not going to pay VAT. As much as we didn't pay for the e-tolls in Gauteng. By the way, in Gauteng, we didn't pay for e-tolls because people like me and many other people stood firmly by OUTA and said, we are not paying as Badali. And we never ever paid. Upanyaza last year, wasukuma ukdawa, wati yena, uzosfagela amanyama e-tolls. I even did a video on TikTok about that. And many people responded and took it to Twitter, and it was effective. And he stopped more e-tolls to charge us for the 6 billion rand that they illegally, unconstitutionally stole from motorists to charge them the e-toll fee after the Constitutional Court, after they violated a Constitutional Court judgment saying they must not bill us. We are not paying even 0.0000001% increase. We are not going to be held hostage by criminals. We've been held hostage enough by criminals in this country. We've been held hostage enough by incompetent thugs who are masquerading as government ministers, as members of parliament, as MECs, as MMCs, as public representatives, who are actually putting themselves on lists without even checking whether they are qualified to be on those lists. There are people in parliament who can read a balance sheet, who can read a management account statement from a government department, who don't know what a debit and a credit is, but they are MPs. We can't have that nonsense. We cannot be held hostage by an unaccountable government. This government is unaccountable. In fact, it's a mafia government. They can't go to a cabinet meeting and unilaterally decide to make us pay for things that we cannot afford. They must go and check the price of eggs and bread today and tell me who can afford those prices. Anyone.
You guys buy bread for the same price I buy bread now.
Lalela.
I buy sourdough bread because of my stomach, my gut health.
Oh, wow. We're best friends because I'm gluten intolerant.
Yeah, so
I eat
sourdough is like 28 rand.
It's $30 now, sorry.
Yeah, it depends.
I wrote Woolworths an email to complain.
Yeah.
I complained and I phoned them because it's been going up by 1 rand since last year, September.
Yeah.
So, please, your platform, you've got more.
You've
got more influence than me.
You put it.
Sister's got more influence than me. get us resources. We need to go to the Concord. We need to stop them. Instead, we need Trump and Elon Musk to come here and audit the Auditor General, because the Auditor General is also doing a disfavor to the citizens. You are comfortable thinking the Auditor General, that's all the Auditor General does. They have teeth. They
Miss
don't.
Maluleka, we drive
they
past
just the Auditor General just says, oh, they just stole another 5 billion rand or 2 billion rand from Department of Health in Gauteng alone.
And then she
That's
takes
all
out
the
her
Auditor
dentures.
General says.
Then she takes out her dentures and puts them in a jar because she's toothless.
The Auditor General looks at the crime, they look at the murder and the rape, they say, oh, uMandisa uqeda ukubulala umuntu manje. Oh, sekabulala abantu abawu-5. Ngelanga elithize. Akunikeze all the report from the, what do you call it, the people who study dead bodies? They dissect the crime.
Coroners.
They dissect the crime.
Yes.
Of the theft of
The
your
coroner.
money. And they tell you, here's the crime. They don't call the police. They don't bring in the Hawks. They don't bring in SIU.
And
So
the PRICA Act says that
it's
they must...
it's gangsterism.
But
The South African government
why
is a gang.
isn't the PRICA Act active? Why can't we hold people accountable for not reporting criminality even though they're either part of it or seeing it?
Partly because what happened to Babita to Karen, 6 men carrying AK-47s come and shoot one woman for exposing the criminality, because the police, the NPA,
Why did they
the
do
judges,
what they did to me? They sued me.
the NPA, they sued you for what?
For defamation of character.
But that's a civil lawsuit.
I know, but they didn't kill me. That's what I'm saying. They could have done that to Babita. They could have sued her for defamation.
Who sued you, by the way?
Cyril's people.
You allowed them to do that?
They own the judges. I can't help it.
Who sued you? Tell me.
It doesn't matter. It's Cyril's people.
Okay, as Pumela,
Cyril's people.
the point I'm making is that the Auditor General themselves are complicit in this nonsense. They observe the crime, they look at it, they study it, they dissect it, they analyze it, they put icing on it, they tell it to you. They wait for next year, they get their salaries, gumnandi, they audit again, more crimes, more crimes.
Is what they have...
It's a criminal state.
But is what they have sufficient to put on a police desk and say, this is a docket?
Of course. When you open a case, the police will just advise you to say, please make sure there's evidence, but it's not your job to bring the evidence. You need sufficient... If I say, ungshayile, yovuli case, the cop doesn't know whether ungshayile or not for real. They have to go on my word. Then they must come and investigate. Do you understand? So the Auditor General's report is even more damning, because it literally tells you that kulahleke imali. They might not tell you ukuthi ithathwe ubani kanjani, but they can tell you ukuthi kulahleke i-2 billion. They just tell you ilahlekile imali yabantu.
So now, when that happens, right, the consequences are usually externalized because we rely on external validation in this country, like ratings agencies, etc., right? JP Morgan just decides now they're downgrading us from neutral to overweight, right? All Standard & Poor, all of these guys, they've given us lower ratings. Why is it we're grey listed, right? We've come out of, the COVID economic depression or
No, we
recession.
haven't come out of it. We're actually now in the height of it. Job losses are increasing now.
Okay, but we've come out of the worst of it as it started, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. We are going to the worst of it. The deaths are increasing as a result of the jab itself, and those people are not even taking government to court. We should be suing government now.
We've got over 50% youth unemployment rate.
60%.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's over half.
Youth is 60%.
Yeah. So over half of the youth. How are you guys going to have medical attention when you're fully on pension and you're fully retired, you're no longer working, you've got no other supplementary income, if we are unemployed? Adrian Gore was complaining about that
The number of people contributing towards the tax base is decreasing.
Outside of tax, just your healthcare.
How do you improve your quality of life in your household? Besides saving and spending correctly, etc., and eating better, you increase the income. How do you increase the income? You can increase the number of people who work, which is what the best, instead of putting pressure on the person who's bringing in the money to bring in more money. As the children grow older, they must get holiday jobs, mabangene high school, to decrease the pressure.
Can't now because there's
So
too many
South Africa
illegals.
needs to do that. We need to increase the tax base the pay-as-you-earn base especially. The easiest way to do it is to increase the number of employees who can pay-as-you-earn. Because what is a percentage? What is 5% of 100? It's 5 rand, right? What is 10% of, I'm trying to make an example with increasing the number of people who contribute, which reduces the tax burden on taxpayers.
On each person,
right?
On each individual, yeah. I think we get that.
Yeah. So that's economics 101.
Yeah.
The government is not even doing that, which is an additional crime. Because economic stimulus is their responsibility. Local economic development is their responsibility. It's their responsibility to make sure that we are not as burdened with the tax, even reducing the number of taxes that we're paying. They are increasing the taxes that we're paying. We're paying taxes other countries don't even pay. Trump is talking about increasing tariffs so that he can remove income tax from workers.
So that he can use his trade advantage.
China, they want to tax the workers, the few workers who are reducing even more. And they are not increasing the number of taxpayers. So this country is a complete injustice as a country. Like it's
so
an
do you
injustice.
support the tax revolt that people have
Yes.
called for?
I don't want to pay tax anymore. In fact, I've stopped. I'm not going to pay the municipality until I have maybe 50 million rand. I can pay them and not feel it.
So you got solar power?
No, I don't. I'm just not
You
going
got
to
a
pay them.
borehole?
I'm just not going to pay them.
And then Mabakimela, are you going to...
Ngeke baze bangicimele. I'm not going to tell you why, because then they're going to come and bully certain people. Ngeke baze bangicimele. Ngeke ngize ngibabhadale. I'm not, listen.
As long as Bangakimeli, she's a
Johannesburg.
pensioner,
We have potholes
I can
here.
put on the indigents
We have
register if need
potholes here in
be.
North Riding.
Yeah.
We have traffic lights. Go
Yeah,
to
and Olivedale.
Malibongwe Drive and look at the condition of that
Bryanston.
road. Look at the condition of the roads. Look at the road markings. The M1 doesn't have markings on the road anymore. Ma udrive ebusuku ufana nami ungaboni. Udrive kabuhlungu because you
Even
can't
here,
see which lane
on
you're in.
Victimhood and Church Street to the traffic
Accidents
lights.
are all government's
That
fault.
pothole has been there for maybe 6 years.
There are no road markings on the freeway. Do you know how dangerous that is? Do you know how dangerous that is
Especially
at night?
for us who can't
Most of
see.
the lights don't work. They want to keep on collecting our money.
Namateki.
Iyaphi le mali? What are they doing with this money? Angmazi mina, I don't know those people.
But I'm just saying that's what we're seeing of our councillors. That's what we're seeing of these young
No,
people.
the black middle class also needs to wake up now.
So now I'm asking you a
The
pertinent
black
question
middle
about...
class that pays tax needs to revolt. Needs to revolt. We need to revolt. We need a tax revolt in this country. It's an injustice. Like, badla imali yethu yethu. Let me tell you what they do. This proportional representation nonsense here in Komangayo. They tell you, and yes, you see, you're always victims.
But we were kids. We didn't know.
Are you a kid now?
And now I'm not. So please arm me with the knowledge so that we can fight these people, so that I can
Read
go
the
to work. so that
the Electoral Act.
We can make sure
the
that...
Electoral Act is the most unjust act.
Yeah.
The Electoral Act. The Electoral Act is the biggest criminal that's enabling
It's
the criminals.
unconstitutional and
Let
it
me tell
should
you,
have been removed.
They amended it. They do these soft amendments. We went to the Concord. They did an amendment that didn't suit the court outcome. You know, like the court outcome doesn't tell Parliament what to actually make the law. It tells them...
Didn't give
what
them any
the
directives.
No, it can't. It must tell them what outcome to get.
Okay.
To make the amendment so that the outcome is like this.
Okay.
They go and deliberately mess it up. And
And they were
want to
given a
hold on to
6-month
power.
extension.
They want to hold on to power. Also remember that the people in Parliament are represented by a minority stake of the voters. The total qualifying voters in South Africa are 41 million.
And our voter turnout
41 million.
It was less than
16
60%.
million.
Yeah.
16 million.
Ooh.
That's 38% of 41 million.
Ooh.
They will argue and use semantics and say, oh,
That shouldn't even be quorum, right? Is that the right word?
Those are the eligible voters, 41 million. But because South Africa is not like New Zealand and Australia where you are forced by law to vote, you have an option to register to vote after 18, which is wrong. Because you are forced to pay tax. If you don't pay tax, it's a crime. You can be charged with tax evasion. So if I'm forced to pay tax, I must be forced to vote. Do you understand what I mean? Because now the small taxpayer base...
You must be forced to exercise the responsibility that comes with the right.
It's a typical African underdevelopment sort of model. That you are abusing these small tax base and then they keep on politically forcing the poor to keep demanding grants. They keep increasing unemployment so that they put pressure on the middle class because they are racist. They thought that this middle class they're putting pressure on, this tax base is white.
But they're saying
and
that
Indian and
it shouldn't even be called
but
a
now
class.
It's actually majority black.
They're saying it's
now
a
majority
strata.
black.
It's a strata.
You are now abusing blacks because the majority of that middle class base is now black. And this black middle class taxpayer base is a sitting duck. It doesn't want to act. It doesn't want to do anything. We all wait for Outer and Afriforum who are doing something, and then we still accuse them of being racist when
But
they're
aren't
helping
we
all of us.
actually waiting for
so
the ANC?
Point is, why are you waiting for the ANC?
No, but I'm just saying, like,
The ANC is not our boss, man. None of those political parties is our boss. Abas only. They account to us. They should account to us. The laws must force them to account to us. The reason the laws don't force them is because they sit there and make the laws. Even the fact that they can go and do promulgate a VAT increase or tax increase without ever consulting us. But by a consultana. What do they mean? What do they mean? They're consulting SACP and COSATU and whoever else and each other in parliament. Who are they representing? Whose money is that? It's our money, right? So what we should be doing is, and there's no other way to do it, I'm telling you, we should go back to the Constitutional Court. And that's another case that I want money for. Go back to the Constitutional Court to now force them to consult the litigants, the people, the New Nation Movement and others, when they amend the law so that we can tell them, because we took them to court, we know what we want that thing to say.
Okay.
We want it to say that they must be forced to institute a constituency-based system where a ward councillor, a member of parliament, a member of provincial legislature is elected directly by a constituency and work out the mathematics with the IEC and the policy framework. Let me tell you how abusive these political parties and unaccountable they are and how dictatorial they are. The Political Party Funding Act was amended to say that they must be forced to account for every 100,000 rand that they receive in private donation. Which includes membership fees. I guess they receive the ones in parliament, not parliament and provincial legislature, not local. They receive constituency and political party funding. They must account for every 100,000 rand they receive. Some have accounted. There are some that have not accounted. I'm not going to mention their names.
Have you
they
ever
know
seen,
themselves. And let me tell you, no one is saying anything about it. Even the other political parties who know, because when they account, they must submit those statements and those accounting statements. There's a regulation in the Electoral Act that you can download it that tells you exactly what they must do, the accounting officer and all of that.
We're downloading it.
That they must submit to the IEC and the IEC submits to Speaker of Parliament.
So are you willing to do a backer buddy? So if we can put a backer buddy link, you run it.
What's a backer buddy?
Backer buddy is like crowdfunding. So that you have a
I'm
link.
willing to do a backer buddy.
Okay, cool. Let's do that off this episode. We'll put a link at the bottom. No, we'll set you up. I just want to. I want to ask you one last question before we go. But one last question. Have you ever seen Nomvula Mukonyane's buttocks?
No, and I don't want to.
So she said she would defend Zuma with her buttocks. And now, since Zuma is no longer in power in the ANC, you know, she's part of the ANC cabal that's saying Zuma's tenure was 9 wasted years.
By the way, government, ANC as a party, I'm calling them individuals.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. They all defended Zuma.
Why are you worried about her bounds?
It's a joke.
Oh, okay,
I'm going somewhere with it. I get it. They said, defender Karibono. That's what they said. That's what Nomvula
Are they still
said.
defending him that way?
I'm just asking if she's defending him with her buttocks or her
you said
buttocks
she's going to defend him when I'm saying that we must go and reverse even that VAT increase of 2018.
Cyril is now in power. They defended Zuma with their buttocks.
Now they are defending
Cyril with their buttocks.
Mr. Ramaphosa with what?
With their buttocks. So are you going to sue her buttocks off? That's what we want to know. We want to raise funds for this campaign, but we want to know how deep are you going? How deep are you going to BBL LB here? Are you going to BBL LB here? So thank you. No, thank you for coming through, and thank you for not being scared. It's NOTA Monday, and I'd just like to say, thank you for never popping up. Oh, sorry. Yes, Nami. Ile iPhone got Steve Jobs. Sorry. So I just like to thank you for never showing me your bikini on my timeline. Please. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have any image in my head that will reduce the respect I have for you. It's a Monday. And we're done.
No comment.